Welcome, adventurers. I am your DM, Chaotic Vito. You all find yourselves on the Sword Coast. At some point, you were all given a letter from a mutual friend that you have known from an acquaintance. They saved your life, you saved theirs, they were on a heist with you, whatever the case may be. They sent you a letter requesting that favor that you owe them. Now is the time to meet in Neverwinter at the Mangled Heartstring Inn and Tavern to help him investigate something to do with something called the Phandelver's Pact. So, as you all travel down, let me share with you the letter that he gives you all. It says, "Friend, I'm calling in that favor. You know the one. I think my brothers and I have found something linked to the old Phandelver's Pact. I need your help. Meet me in 10 days' time in Neverwinter. The Mangled Heartstring is the place. Tell no one. It's been far too long, my friend. Signed, Obi." So wherever you all may have come from, whether it be from the south, north, east, or west, you received this letter and decided, you know what? I need to repay that favor. It's kind of intriguing. Let's go see Obi. So, whether you've been in Neverwinter for a short period of time or a long period of time, you all meet inside or at Neverwinter. The Mangled Heartstring Inn and Tavern, if you can see, is circled in blue. This is the location that you will all be going to. Jumping into the Mangled Heartstring Inn and Tavern. First one to walk in. If you all can see your tokens properly,
we're at the door.
We'll start with the first to walk in. Rimple, if you would like to head into the Mangled Heartstring Inn and Tavern and describe what you look like as you head inside to look for Obi.
Sure. He is a forest gnome. He has dark brunette hair that goes past his ears. He is wearing some sort of not black, but more of a grayish cloak. Over him. He has a couple of daggers at the hilts, but they're well hidden, so no one can see. He has a rapier on one side. He has glistening green eyes. He also has he has a pouch where he keeps his little ball bearings. And that is basically it for now.
Right. As you step inside, you see the interior of the Mangled Heartstring Inn and Tavern. It is fairly well lit. It seems like it may be a slightly less than wholesome tavern, being that it is in the Chasm district of Neverwinter, and that's kind of the lower class part of Neverwinter. Heading inside, you see a handful of patrons sitting at tables, sitting near a fireplace, maybe reading a book or having hushed conversations. You see a few barmaids just walking around to different individuals and tables, setting down tankards of God knows what, and placing down food. Behind the bar, you see a rather rotund human male, seems to be balding a bit, and everyone is kind of going about their business. No one really notices as you come inside.
Yes, I would probably be used to a joint like this because I took the urchin background. So I
Right.
kind of am used to taverns, bars, brothels, basically any like lower class city dozen points.
Got it.
Where is this rotund man again? You didn't really pinpoint a
Behind the
location or anything.
bar. Yep, sorry, I will make sure I do that. Behind the bar,
Okay.
the barkeep is the rotund individual.
All right. So I'm gonna walk over to him. And do I know the bartender's name?
How long have you been in Neverwinter? Have you stopped by, or is this your first time in the Mangled Inn Tavern?
Let's see. Let me just make a quick history check to see if I've been here before.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I definitely had my fair share.
So
of,
you've come to Neverwinter, and with your background, you've kind of scoped out the place prior to actually, showing up on the day. You wanted to make sure there was the right amount of exits and know where all the little bits and bobs are, in case for a quick getaway or a sneaky. So yeah, you know that the individual's name is Vince. He seems to be you've gathered that he's polite enough for those who have coin, and you're well used to this.
All right, I'm gonna go and get. I'm probably not gonna reach the bar, so I'm gonna stand on my tippy toes and go "Hey, yo, Vince! Have you seen this dwarf coming by?
Yeah.
Goes by the name of Obi.
Obi, yeah, he's stopped by a handful of days ago. I ain't seen him since. You Rimple, was it, right?
Yeah, Rimple.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to have a seat and grab a drink, I'm sure if you're waiting on someone, they might show up.
All right, he's gonna give him a silver and go, and we're you could give me a pint or two and maybe some chops. And he's gonna go sit in this side table, and that's gonna end my story arc for now.
Yep. So yeah, you hand over. You wanted some food too?
Yeah, just a couple of lamb chops and some pint.
So that'll be a pint of ale or mead.
Just, ale.
Okay, so yeah, it's 3 silver altogether.
Okay. Yep, no problem.
Yeah, Rimple, right up. I can get you that. And he yelled, Dolores, hey, that table, mead and a meal. Right, got you, boss. And you see a barkeep or the barmaid just kind of scurry off into the back of the kitchen. So, the next individuals that walk in are Viha and Galen together.
You want to take lead, or should I?
Yeah, I'll take lead.
So as you...
I'm V.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I walk in. I'm Viha. I am about 6'4" with medium length, dark hair, topaz yellow eyes, somewhat light gray obsidian scaling, wearing your typical traveler's clothes, pants, boots, with a very standard light metal breastplate. Nothing much other than a scabbard on my side.
Good to know. As you walk into the Mangled Heartstring Inn, you see the same thing. A handful of denizens just milling about, drinking, eating, chatting, reading a book by the fire that's dimly lit. Galen?
Following closely behind him, you see a halfling with backpack already laden, heavy, and what looks to be like a heavy, full wagon wheel as a shield and a human-sized blacksmith hammer strapped to his belt. He's all smiles and looking at everyone. If you're watching him, he makes eye contact with one of the bigger dudes who is probably kind of judging him for being small, and he just waves, like wholeheartedly waves at this guy.
Yeah, a few people just kind of catch your eye as you walk in, as as it would happen with anybody kind of walking in, and before they turn back to their tankard that they're pouring over their food, they see you kind of wave, and they scoff slightly, don't put a huge smile on, but you can tell there's another one of those little folk.
I poke my friend and say, "Hey, we should deliver that water." And start walking towards the bar. The bar.
Okay. Vince behind the bar says, "Hey, you guys get that water? Got a full house in here. We could use it."
Yeah, we got the water. Had a little bit of trouble with some goblins, but we took care of it. Puts the water down by him, or delivers the water.
I appreciate you taking care of them. Yeah, the Chasm District's runs a little bit, seedy, I guess. Occasional goblins or, get in and try to muscle their way, but thanks to individuals like yourself and some of the town's guard, occasionally they kind of get run off, and then we don't have to deal with them for a few months. So I appreciate you taking care of that for us. You said you were looking for, and he kind of leans forward. You're looking for Obi, right?
Yeah. Any word?
Almost.
No, like I told you before, when you came in here the other day and stopped by tonight earlier, he hadn't been here in a little while, but it just so happens that someone else is looking for him too, and he kind of gestures toward Rimple, where Rimple's sitting at that table. He's like, he just came in a little while ago. Rimple at this time, or a little bit just before they stepped inside, you would have gotten your ale and your food. So as they come inside, you notice them, and they're you're going through your food and your ale as well. Yeah, he ordered some food, and he just asked about Obi and said he'd wait. So yeah. And
I look over again. Do you think we should talk to him?
Thank you. I half bow and back away from the bar.
Yeah, anytime. I appreciate you taking care of them gobos. And Vince will kind of snap at one of the other barmaids, and Vince and barmaid will go grab the water and take it back into the kitchen. And as that's happening, you guys are all going around to sit around the table. Aster walks in.
And you see like a 6-foot high tiefling, reddish to purple hue, obsidian horns on the sides. Just carefully walking in.
Got to come up with things, and it's live. This is being going to be put on YouTube. No, I just gotta get into it.
No, buddy, you're keying your mic, bud. Go ahead, Aster.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, can you
I
somehow...
keep on. I told you for 3 days. I have a recipe.
Hey, nobody. You're keying your mic,
Yeah.
bud. You're keying your mic.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So go ahead.
Can you please just somehow tone down the music?
You should be able to, if you right-click on Soundcraft, you can slide the user volume to fit what you would like. Yes.
Yeah, nice. It was fine, but it was a bit too loud for me.
That is okay.
I appreciate the fine art, but...
Yeah. So as you step inside, you see what everyone else has seen. Denizens sitting around tables, eating. You see a few more than the others have seen. You see a table that has a dragonborn, a halfling, and a gnome sitting at it, just kind of blending in with everything around them. All the individuals around are just kind of, you know, reading, eating, chatting. Would you like to, if you want to finish describing yourself, or what would you like to do, or go for it?
For now, description is just fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach the bar and show bartender the letter I received.
Okay. He takes it, he looks at it, he says, you're looking for Obi too, huh? Ain't seen him, but there's a few others who are looking for him. And he kind of gestures toward the table with Viha, Rimple, and Galen. You wanna drink while you wait? We got ale and mead.
Something strong
I can mix them together.
would be my preference. Feel free.
Very well, 2 silver.
Please, for you.
Thank you kindly.
Two.
And you kind of notice that this interaction with him, he's polite enough because you're paying, but he doesn't get super close to the bar as you kind of lean up to it. He's not used to seeing your kind around, but he's polite enough. He gets you he takes out he reaches below the bar, grabs a tankard, and you hear a swash of liquid. And then in his other hand, he takes another tankard, and underneath the bar, you hear another swash of liquid. And there's an empty tankard on the bar in front of him. He kind of like pours them both into it. And he says, the trick is pour at the same time so it's evenly mixed. And then he sets the empties aside, hands you the tankard of the ale mead, and just gives you a little nod and goes back to cleaning out another tankard with a dirty rag.
Okay, I nod back and turn around to this curious group who is also waiting for Obi.
Okay. So now you all are either sitting around the table or table adjacent. The Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern is yours to do with what you wish and converse.
I'll take out a letter.
Oh, continue.
I'll take out my letter from my vest, still folded in half, and lay it on the table with my hand still on top of the piece of paper. Just to see if anybody else follows suit, to make sure that we're all in the same company.
Follow suit and do the same thing.
Rimple knows these letters. He's gonna take one out too. He's gonna be like, "So you guys got these letters too by Mr. Obi?"
Yep. How do you know, Obi?
Yeah, I did a favor for him a couple months ago. Got him out of a scrape.
He pretty much saved me. Took care of me after I was wounded.
Well, my patron requested of me that I should join. And I take my letter out also from my cloak
Okay.
as I join the table.
So as you all are sitting around the table, talking, trying to suss each other out, looking each other up and down, not sure whether to trust or completely already have trusted, based upon your mutual acquaintance of Oburian Stonemasher. The door slams open, and you glance over, and you see an individual that looks like this. Should have shared to you all. Oh, wait a minute. Did the handout share?
I got Obi letter, my character, and combat guide. My handouts.
I don't see it.
Yeah, nothing popped.
A second here. Should it be in all your handouts?
There we go.
There we
Still
go.
there. Oh,
Yes. You see a individual wearing they're wearing a traveling cloak underneath. You can kind of peek at some armor that they're kind of wearing. It seems like they are kind of robust a little bit, maybe about 6 foot tall, hair that kind of cascades a little bit down their back, a scruffy beard, and it looks like they may have a sword on their side, but they're not outwardly showing their armor, but you can tell it's there, and you think that might be meant, that might be a thing that was done on purpose. You see this individual walk up past you guys, just you hear the clink of his metal shoes, I guess, or boots against the wood as he walks by you, walks up to the tavern keeper, leans on the bar. Vince nods at him, and he kind of whispers something. Can't quite catch what it is. And Vince nods again and kind of looks at your table and like gives a little head nod in that direction. And you see Sildar pop down like a piece of coin and slide it across the tavern. Give a little bow of the head. Turn around and will walk around you all, kind of catching eyes with you all as he passes you by, and he kind of sits over here away from other individuals in the tavern.
That was weird.
And
So,
As he sits down, I gawk over at him inconspicuously, and I use my mercenary background to check and see if there's any significant markings or crest.
yeah,
on his armor.
roll me a history check. You don't quite, well, actually, you would. You're not sure which portion of the faction he is a part of, but I am, let's see here. You see, a small sigil, like emblem emblazoned on just underneath the cloak that kind of, he moves it back a little bit as he sits down, and you see like a white crown that's surrounded by gold against like a red background. You would recognize this as the Lord's Alliance faction.
Okay. I look at everyone around. I mention that his behavior seemed a bit suspicious and bring up the fact that he seems to be associated with the Lord's faction.
okay.
All right, so you hand out 2 good berries to everyone. As you're doing this, Vince walks around with 4 tankards of mead, sets them down on the table, and says, "No need to pay, courtesy of the gentleman in the back." And he nods over to the individual sitting at the far table. He says, "When you're ready, I think who you're looking for, he knows." And Vince will... Yep.
I do anything to this ale, can I enroll investigation on the ale?
Sure.
Good
Absolutely.
choice. I was thinking that.
Sure can.
15.
15. Are you so investigation, so are you dipping your finger in? Are you taking a little sip? You just trying to gauge it?
Mm,
Just enough
Knowing,
so yeah. Go ahead.
knowing that I'm a rogue, poison, roofies, sickness, venom, anything that got tampered with the drink.
As you kind of swirl the tankard around a little bit and you see the glistening liquid kind of slosh out a little bit of barely any foam since it is mead. You get a really strong whiff of fermented honey and alcohol. It smells very sweet, and it seems like it might taste pretty good as well.
I'm not gonna take a gulp. I'm gonna take a little doggy sip of it, like a little.
As you take a little doggy sip, your mouth is overcome by flavors of honey, also ginger and cinnamon that kind of mix very well across your palate. It is a smooth mead. It tastes good.
Okay, I'm gonna tell the other three or other two. Be like, I think this is safe to drink. Sorry, I just have a rule. I buy my own. I don't take foreign drinks and food.
I will just sniff at the drink and put it back on the table because I also have mine.
Yep. Yeah, you can glean Aster. The smell coming from the mead is it smells like the mixture that you're currently drinking. Well, half the mixture anyway.
Okay. I'm still gonna leave it on the table because I have my mix.
Yep. Okay. So, Galen, you walked off up the stairs.
Yeah, with a 19 stealth, I'm just fucking walking while everyone's talking.
Okay. So you see this individual kind of like sitting at the table, poring over a little notebook that he has. And beside him, there's a tankard of either ale or mead. You're not quite sure. Doesn't seem to notice you.
I'm one square further down. I'm in the chair next to him, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's put you there.
I'm having to reload the map every couple times I move.
Okay. Yeah, so as you sit down, he looks up and he notices you. And he says, fair tidings, friend. Can I help you?
I'll pull the piece of paper still folded in half and put it on the table and keep my hand on top of it. I was told you might have some information about one of our friends.
Are you to meet him here?
Yes, we were directed to. I'll look over at the group of my friends and wave.
Well, if you and your friends would like to join me, you can bring the ales that I bought you and have a seat and we can discuss Oburian.
Gentlemen,
I walk over carrying my mead, but not taking a seat, just standing at the edge of the table, kind of keeping my guard up just in case.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna walk over, still hand at hilt with the mead.
I'm following behind and I would like to do an insight check on everyone around here. And I want, during the conversation, especially follow Sildar with my insight.
Okay. Give me an early insight check. Are you basically rolling it now to see how the rest of the conversation, what you glean from the conversation that's about to happen? Is that basically what you're trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
A 3 insight. Got it. Easy enough. As you all start to walk up towards this individual, he gestures. Please, there's no need to stand. There are plenty of chairs. And as luck would have it, it may not show on the map, but there's enough chairs for all of you. If you would like to sit.
I will have a seat. Thank you very much.
Take a seat at an adjoining table next to Galen.
Okay. Easy enough. So as you all sit around this individual, he looks at you all. He says, my name is Sildar Hallwinter, and I am a friend of Oburian Stonemasher. I see that he is not here. Have any of you seen him in the last few days?
Nah, we just came here.
That is concerning. And he looks at you all, and he kind of looks past you at the rest of the inn to see if anyone else is kind of keeping an eye. And he will now pull out a letter, and he will place it in the middle of the table, inconspicuously for you all to kind of glance an eye and take a look at. And the letter, if the handout showed to all of you, correct?
Is this a new letter?
It is a new letter. So it says,
New letter.
It says, Sildar, if I don't meet you in Neverwinter by the end of this 10-day, it means my search for the first relic has proven unsuccessful. Something else is coming. I can feel it. I have reached out to several of my friends to help. They can be trusted. Meet them at our old pub in Neverwinter in 15 days' time. Be safe, my friend. Obi. So this should be, I believe, possibly. Let me make sure that it's in all of your player journals now. Yes, it should be in all your player journals. Keep track of. If there's something that I give you a handout and you don't see it in your player journal, let me know so I can adjust it. So he shows you that letter, and as you all kind of read over it and look at it, he kind of slides it back to himself, rolls it up, and puts it underneath his cloak. He looks at all of you.
I'm gonna lean. What was Obi doing?
And he, Sildar leans in towards you all and says, well, there's this, have you ever heard of the Phandelver's Pact?
I do recall
What is it like?
Obi mentioning it.
I actually have never heard of this Phandelver's Pact. Was it like a contract or something?
Well, for a long time, that's kind of what everyone assumed and was told. From all knowledge prior to recent, the Phandelver's Pact was an agreement, just an agreement, between elves, gnomes, and dwarves. There's a place, I'm not sure where, it has been lost to time, called Wave Echo Cave. Now, the thought of this Phandelver's Pact was to protect Wave Echo Cave from forces of, I don't want to say evil, but just individuals who wanted to get their hands on, I believe there's a magical forge inside Wave Echo Cave. So you can imagine if needy individuals get their hands on a magical forge, it might not prove well for the rest of us. That was the thought. It was just a pact to protect the forge. However, new information has come to light. I'm still not fully understanding. Obi, you know how Obi is. He gives you just what you need to know when you need to know it. And unfortunately, he didn't tell me much. But it seems from what he's written, the Pact may be a series of, what I can gather, a series of relics from each of these races that were used to protect it. I don't, seems like it was more than just a verbal contract. It seems like some sort of artifacts were attached to this contract. And it looks like Obi may have gone in over his head, as he has in the past, as some of you well know. And he kind of leans back in his chair. His brow furrows a little bit. He grabs his tankard, takes a sip, and just sits there looking at all of you.
Could it be that my patron would be interested in this magical forge? Possibly, yeah.
Aster, yeah, you can probably glean that might be something your patron would be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Sildar, go ahead.
I think we should try and focus on gathering information about the forge itself to determine where Obi is in his quest on the mysteries of the Phandelver's Pact. He did mention something with the first artifact, right?
And Sildar will nod and say, indeed, he says he was looking for the first relic. And if he didn't make it back, I was to meet you here and guide you and point you in the right direction, I suppose, of where he last was.
So you also know of possible dangers where he went.
I mean, there's dangers all up and down the Sword Coast. Where he went is a place called Phandalin. We were supposed to go there together, in fact, after he met with you, and we were all supposed to travel down there and investigate whatever he had found or information that he had found. We were going to do it together. But it seems like he may not. I'm not sure where he is now. It's a little concerning. So there might be dangers.
I'd say we take some time, make some preparations, gather as much information as possible, and then head out as soon as we can, once we're fully prepared.
I agree. There is no point in rushing blindly. Silver, what else can you share with us? And I want to possibly do another insight check to maybe see how truthful he is. How much is he spilling out?
I'm gonna hold your initial insight check because you wanted it for this entire conversation. So we're still gonna go with that initial insight until the conversation is complete. But I will tell you, so far, sounds like he's telling the truth. Is what you're gleaning, or he might be lying.
Yeah,
maybe. You don't know. Sildar says to you guys, he says, I've already prepared a wagon. It's at the stables at the edge of Neverwinter. I instructed them that whoever Obi sent for might be taking it out to Phandalin in the morning. So it is your choice if you wish to take the cart or find your own other means. You can walk, but the cart is waiting there for you if you so wish to choose to take it.
Back to my character sheet here. I believe with my animal handling and stuff, I think taking the cart would be a good idea.
Yes, I mean, if you organized already something for us, why not use it?
Well, plus, you're well versed in all manner of land wagons.
Yeah.
Shotgun.
Hey, we going shotgun? Oh, yeah. Fine around the back.
Sildar notices what you do. Galen kind of lifts his leg up and gives a hearty smile and says, thank you, young friend. I haven't been able to clean these in a while. I appreciate it. So,
guys,
ahead.
are we gonna grab a room for the night, or are we gonna leave? Like, what hour is it, DM, of the day?
So it's late evening. It's late evening, maybe about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, so
Yeah,
are we intending to grab a room and go in the morning?
Yeah, I say let's grab a room, spend as much of the night as we can, gathering as much info in the pub as we can, and before we take off in the morning, see about stocking up on equipment, anything we may need for the journey, and then take off.
Yeah.
As you guys are discussing, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Just when it comes time to grab a room, I'd like to say something then.
Okay, that's fine. Sildar hears you guys kind of discussing whether you're planning on leaving out in the morning. He raises his tankard and he says, to Obi, hopefully the son of a bitch is still alive and breathing. And
I raise my
Sildar,
tankard to Obi.
To Obi.
and he downs the last of it. He stands up and he says, now I do apologize, but because of the matter of Obi's disappearance, I must meet with my other faction members within Neverwinter and possibly further to let them know of what he may have found and the ruckus it may cause. So I need to look into it myself a little bit. I will meet you in Phandalin in a few days once I have sent word to the Lord's Alliance.
Wait.
Okay.
I thought you are joining us. That you are coming with us.
Well, unfortunately, I have procured the wagon for you. All you have to do is go down the high road, turn left on the Tribor Trail, and then Phandalin's right down that way. It's about a 2 to 3 day maybe travel to get down there. But Lord's Alliance information needs to be shared. They need to know what's going on. I apologize. There was just not enough time to be able to take care of all this before I headed down there with you. But fret not. I will meet you in Phandalin, and we will find our dear friend and figure out what the hell he's gotten himself into this time. Is there anything else anyone would like to ask Sildar before he gets up and walks out of the tavern?
Simply nod my head and say safe travels, my friend.
You as well, Mr. Dragon Man.
Viha.
Biha.
I am Viha.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Viha. And he will walk out. He'll nod over at Vince behind the bar. And Vince will nod back as Sildar swishes his cape before he makes an exit. And then leaves. So,
I look at the rest of the party and say, he may have good intentions, but I've been around enough to know that you can never trust someone right off the bat.
Yeah, I like your thinking. It's the rule I live by. How do I don't trust all three of you?
We all have the same missive.
That doesn't mean anything.
It could be forged.
Yeah. See, Mr. Horn's got the
stand
right
up.
idea.
Start to walk by. I then walk up to Vince,
okay.
pop down a few silver, order another mead, and then ask if he knows anything about this forge or these artifacts involving the Phandelver's Pact.
Let's see if he does. He looks at you, he furrows his brow, says, I mean, coming up in school, we learned about the Phandelver's Pact. It was, an agreement between, some race or another to protect, I guess you said some kind of forge. What I remember from stories that place was lost to time. That's why you ask.
Obi has ties to it. He's been talking about it. Just got the best of my curiosity.
Has he now? Well, hopefully he stays safe, I suppose. Whatever that entails. And he hands you your mead and continues cleaning and handing out drinks behind the bar.
I would like to walk up and ask him how much a room is and ask if they need any help in the kitchen.
He looks at you and he says, yes, rooms are 3 silver pieces a night. We're kind of closing up the kitchen, as it were, at the minute. Horace has been busy tonight, as you all have seen earlier when everyone was here and you all went to go get water. He was kind of losing his shit, honestly. There was more in here than we thought there would be, so he's been rushing around. He's a great cook, but I appreciate the offer. But he's just closing everything up for the night, and the kitchen's about to be done. I'm about to turn in myself here soon. The rooms, 3 silver a night.
Okay. I was trying to see if I couldn't work off with my hospitality, a silver or 2. 3 silver, okay. And I set it up on the bar.
And he reaches underneath the bar, and you hear the clinking of metal together, and he pulls out a key that has a little dangly note that says that has the number 2 on it, and he hands it over to you. He says, 2, top of the stairs down the hall.
Okay.
Have a good night.
How many beds are to a room?
There are 2 beds to each room.
Okay. I'll take out another 3 and put it on the bar.
Okay, he'll nod and he'll hand you another key that says 3 on it.
Okay.
So is there anything else y'all would like to do in the tavern before heading upstairs to take a little sleep before your adventure proper begins?
Not that I can think of.
I had an idea of going outside and follow Sildar a bit.
Okay, you wanted to follow Sildar?
Just a bit, stealthily. Maybe I'll learn some new information which he hasn't shared or something. I just want to follow him for a while.
Okay. Yeah. Let me move your token outside. As everyone else, is there anything that anyone else wants to do before they go and lay down for bed?
No, I'm
No.
retiring for the night.
Okay.
I'm retiring too.
Okay. Galen, you have 2 keys. You have 2 rooms.
Okay. I give V our key, and I go back up to the table and looking for the other 2. Is one of them still here?
Rimple is.
Or did they both go? Okay. I give Rimple the other key.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And I'd like to roll perception. Okay, yep, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. What were you rolling perception for? I'm sorry.
Oh, just to see if I could find our other compatriot in the crowd, but he dipped, so that's good.
Yeah, you all see Aster kind of, as you all kind of get up after Sildar leaves to go get the keys and whatnot. You see Aster start to walk toward the door. Okay, so Aster, if you want to join me in Whispers chat, we can.
Okay.
Yes. Everyone else will be right back. Hello.
Okay.
So.
This never happened to me before.
Let me. Everyone's gonna see what you see, but it's fine for the minute. Okay. So, do you see the map of Neverwinter?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, are you trying to be stealthy or?
Yes, I rolled 13 on stealth.
Okay. As you leave the Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern, we do this. Second. Okay. As you leave the Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern, a little bit behind Sildar, outside, the moon is kind of peeking through some clouds. It is rather dark outside. In this area of Neverwinter is the Chasm District, and what you may have heard about that is that a long time ago, Mount Hootnow, a volcano nearby, erupted and essentially destroyed part of Neverwinter, and the land split apart into a deep chasm. So Neverwinter kind of rebuilt themselves away from the chasm, and all the lower class ended up being, told to create their living around that not great area to live by. Yes. So there's an occasional person here or there walking by, but there's really not many people on the street. Essentially everyone that you see has a cloak over their head and they're kind of quick stepping to wherever they need to go. So as you follow Sildar, you see him go left, go west through Neverwinter, towards the Protector's Enclave. And you're staying a handful of feet behind him, as he's just walking. He's not really making any stops. He does take a couple turns, but he doesn't seem to be actively trying to lose anyone if someone were following him. He ends up around here in the Protector's Enclave. You see a small, very modest building. One-story building. It has a front door with a window off to the left. There's no sign denoting what it is. And he walks up to the door, gives a single knock, and as the door opens, you see another individual wearing red robes with yellow embellishments on it, and you also see across their chest to be a symbol of the Lord's Alliance, which is a golden crown on a red background. And he's welcome inside as you're left standing outside the building.
I want to look. Is the air clear? No one around us? And
it doesn't seem to be anyone in this. As you're in the Protector's Enclave, moving from the Chasm District to the Protector's Enclave, it seems like the housing situation and the buildings, it's a pretty drastic change. Over on this side, there's a lot more columns and stonework and intricate filigree on some of the buildings, and they start to grow in size, larger than what you saw, the small ramshackle buildings in the Chasm District. This seems to be a rather richy side of Neverwinter. There doesn't seem to be anyone around other than there's a handful of towns guards that you've seen walk down streets and alleys and walkways in pairs once you got inside the Protector's Enclave proper. But currently, right now, you do not see any towns guard, any denizens walking around. You are completely alone on this street in front of, it seems to possibly be a Lord's Alliance safe house or residence.
okay, I want to just lean myself near the window, but in a such way that I'm not so near the window to keep my distance a bit, so I cannot be seen from the inside, and listen.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to check, is the window possibly open?
The window is not open, but you can roll me a perception check.
Perception.
Yes. You have to lean fairly close to the door. You don't really touch it, but you get very, very close to it, and you can just make out a couple voices. One you recognize as Sildar. The other one you don't quite recognize, and it's hard to understand what they're saying, but you do get bits and pieces for the next couple minutes as you're listening. You hear Oburian's name. You hear Phandalin. You hear Phandelver's Pact. You hear Bad for the Realm. You hear May Not Be Safe. You hear the last little bit in Sildar's voice that says, very well, I will rush to Waterdeep to tell the High Inquisitors about what we have found. Hopefully, whoever Obi sent can look further into it, and I will report back. And as you hear that, you hear footsteps coming back towards the door. What do you do?
I'm moving. As soon as I hear them, I'm moving to the side of the building and hiding behind the corner.
Okay, give me a stealth check. as you jump around the corner, Sildar steps out into the quiet, and your knee kind of bangs against a little barrel, a little piece of wood scrap, and it tumbles over onto the ground. And Sildar, his head turns in your direction, even though you jump behind the building, and you hear his voice say, "Someone's got to do something about those cats." And he turns and he begins to walk off. Doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Oh, I released a sigh. That was close. Okay, and as soon as he leaves, I'm gonna check the air and make my way to the inn.
Okay. Easy enough. Yeah, everything seems to be fine. Like I said, everyone's kind of gone to bed down for the night as you casually, stealthily-ish, kind of walk your way back to the Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern to bed down for the night. Or isn't really issues on your way back. So we'll jump back over to curtains and we'll get back in it.
They have returned.
Yes.
Boom, boom,
Alright.
boom.
Everyone else went to sleep but me. I'm still kind of sitting at the table, drinking my mead, waiting for Aster to return.
Okay. After about a half an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes goes by, you see Aster walk back in to the tavern.
I pop my head, look up at him, like, find anything good?
Oh, you are awake? No. Unfortunately, nothing of good use. For now. And yourself?
Alright.
Enjoying the drink?
Yeah, played a few games, played some dice, figured I'd wait back. Info gathering's kind of my deal, so figured I'd find out what I knew from you as soon as I could before taking off to bed.
Yeah, my stroll was not so rewarding, at least I think. But I believe that it would be best to stay vigilant for anything on our way to Phandalin. Just in case something pops out.
I thank Aster for the lookout and then head upstairs to go to bed.
Okay. Aster, are you doing anything before you head on up to bed?
If Vince is still on the counter when I come back, I would like to take a room. If not, I will find a place for myself.
Okay.
Are you wanting a room by yourself?
Well, how many rooms did we got anyway?
It's
2 rooms, 2 beds each.
Viha, did you tell Aster this when you guys were having your conversation just now?
Oh no, I didn't. Sorry.
Never
No, I
mind.
mean you can have if you wanted to. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll mention that there's a room available for him before I take off to bed.
Oh, thank you. Which number was it?
I believe his number was 3.
Number 3. Awesome. And then I will also follow Viha and go to room 3.
Okay. So, as you all bed down for the night, head up to your rooms. Modest, very, very modest rooms. 2 beds apiece in each room. You all pick one. Is there any conversations that you all would like to have with the person you're rooming with, or what have you, before you actually fall asleep?
No, I believe Galen and Ripple are already asleep.
Yep.
I go into the room. I share a room with Galen and Aster's given the one with Ripple.
Okay. if there's nothing else.
Mm.
So, you all lay your heads down to sleep, thinking of the conversations that were held or the conversations that you overheard. Wondering what tomorrow will bring and what has happened to your friend Obi. And who is this Sildar character? As you all lay your heads down to sleep, night and darkness and dreams overtake you. You all get a long rest. And morning beckons. The lights from outside your windows shine in on you guys and kind of slowly wake you up. You hear some bustling outside of workers and whatnot and paupers and what are they? You hear like oysters, clams, and cockles as a little cell cart kind of moves by the Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern. So it is a new day, y'all. Y'all wake up in your bedrooms. What would you like to do?
Probably get my cloak on, get my dagger. I do not keep under my pillow. Why do you ask? Get my belt on, get my pants on, shoes, take my cloak, and I just wait for everybody to get up and at 'em.
I get up, gather my equipment, get ready, and almost immediately head down for my morning mead.
I shall follow.
Okay.
DM, I would like to have woken up a little bit early to try to help in the kitchen and possibly get food worked off for the party.
Okay, yeah, you wake up a little bit before everyone else does. There's really no one inside the tavern yet. There might be like one or two people sitting off by themselves, just kind of waiting on a morning meal before they have to get off to work. Vince tells you that would be mighty kind of you, and he gestures behind the bar to head to this door here, to head on to the kitchen and talk to Horace.
Okay.
So over there, as you enter the kitchen, you see a rather large half orc, short little tusks poking out from under his lips. He has like he doesn't have a shirt on. He's got a smock, like a butcher's smock or cooking apron up around his neck that ties around his waist. It's very dirty, but as you walk in, you see a bunch of veggies. You smell a plethora of spices. There's a pot cooking over by the fire that's just boiling, and you're getting these nice wafting preserved spice smells. And there's hunks of meat.
Yes, what can I do you for? I'm Horace. Hello.
Hi, Horace. I'd like to help in any way that I can.
Well, little one, come on in. You can chop some of these carrots or slice up some of that meat. I appreciate the help.
And he's nice, jovial, big smile on his face, and he sets about going to instruct you to, go cut this, put that in there, grab that spice, hand me this. He takes some pride in preparing these meals, and as you're assisting him, he goes over and he kind of goes over what the meal's gonna be, and he says that for breakfast, he's making nice slab of he just calls it like a slab of meat with eggs and veg. But that's all he calls it. But the way that you guys are preparing it, it looks like it's going to be pretty tasty. He puts like right a little bit of pinch of spice here and a nice little sear on the meat there. And he knows his way around a knife. Nice little julienne of like carrots. And you set about. And
with the kitchen door closed, I'll go ahead and have unseen servant used for the day, and I'll go ahead and have him running around helping grab stuff.
So Horace sees this, and at first he's like,
Yeah, what the? It's float. Oh my god. Wait a minute. That's awesome.
yeah, and like every time it like your unsuit servant like grabs something, he like claps his hands and like he stops what he's doing and just watches, and he has to like kind of remind himself, shake his head to get out of like, oh yeah, we're doing something, not just enjoying the show. He's enjoying your company. It seems like
Cool.
he's normally doing this by himself.
Well, extra hands.
Yes, exactly. So as you're helping Horace prepare the morning meal, everyone else comes down to the tavern proper.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, Esther is gonna get himself dressed and make his way downstairs.
Okay. Rimple and Viha went down as well. Vince waves you all and, oh, good morning there. Would you like some meal and some ales? Or how about some mead?
2 pints of mead for me, Vince.
All right. That'll be 2 silver.
Pop down the silver for him. Down one of them immediately. Say, good as always.
Indeed it
And
is.
begin to drink my second.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, if you're looking for your friend Galen, he's out helping Horace in the kitchen.
Preparing the meals, so this morning y'all meals are free.
Said your friend is helping prepare.
Oh. Dang.
Yeah, he's a really jovial little fella. You don't see that much around the inn, the Mangled Heartstring, or even the Chasm District for that matter. He's a welcome sight.
Esther is like a bit surprised, but okay.
Yeah. So, as you all coalesce around a table, sit down and chit-chat a little bit. Galen, all the food is ready. Horace comes out with you carrying 4 plates. He's carrying 2, you're carrying 2, and follows you over to the table and sets them down and gives a nod to all of you.
I thank Horace for the opportunity and sit back down.
Horace doesn't leave for a second. He's kind of like eyeing the food and like eyeing you guys. And he's just like standing there for a second.
Yes?
I give the plate a whiff. Kind of size up what I'm dealing with.
It smells
Without
good.
second thought, I begin shoveling it into my mouth.
And Horace breathes a large sigh of relief, puts on a huge smile, turns to all of you, and then claps Galen on the back and says,
You're welcome anytime.
and he hobbles and kind of waddles back around the bar and heads back into the kitchen. Yeah, the food's
So-
pretty decent. Breakfast is nice. some seasoned meat, some veg, and some eggs, and it pairs very well with the mead, the sweetness of the mead and the spice of the meat. The nice hearty breakfast.
Galen, I heard that we should be thankful to you for this opportunity for the cooking.
Oh, nonsense. I was just happy to help wherever I can.
Yeah.
After I finish stuffing my face, I simply raise my glass to Galen and Horace.
To Galen and who's the other guy again? Oh, Horace.
Indeed.
So when do we set out?
I figure shortly after breakfast is when we should start when we should head out from the pub and venture through the town, at least gather our equipment, gather some info along the way, but try not to spend too much time because time is of the essence.
I agree, but we should also possibly be careful with what questions are we asking which persons.
That is true.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Sildar last night mentioned that this could fall into the wrong hands. That a lot of people would benefit from finding it.
Yep.
Can I roll perception to see if anybody's like
Eavesdropping or
listening?
whatnot? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Absolutely.
only because it was pointed out. 22.
Yeah. There's the game log. So you there's a few more people that showed up after y'all got downstairs. More people are settling in. Horace is still bringing out some more food, and some of the barmaids have come into work, and they're now starting to serve everyone else. No one's really paying you too much mind. You see, again, like last night, a handful of people sitting around tables, and then you see Vince just standing behind the bar, occasionally looking up at you guys, looking up at the barmaids walking by, handing out some drinks to people who come up to the bar. Just, yeah.
Okay.
So, should we find a suitable shop and stock ourselves before our way?
Yeah. DM,
Yeah.
since we're in the town, is there a sort of magic or smith in the town?
Yes. There is. Let me pull it here. Sorry. Yeah, there definitely, absolutely there is. 100%. There's a handful of smithies, a handful of magic shops, a handful of general shops that are just kind of scattered throughout. All you got to do is really look around, or if you want to roll a history check to kind of remember where certain ones were that you may be looking for.
First one I want to look for is an apothecary to get at least a potion of healing.
Okay.
So let's
Give
see.
me a history check.
By the way, the good berries that I handed out last night are good until tonight. And each one of them is for health. So you have 8 health already.
So, Rimple, where the way you came into Neverwinter and how you kind of wandered around a little bit, you didn't travel all of Neverwinter, but you did see some general stores, nothing specifically. Well, there is a shop that you kind of wandered by. It was Priscilla's potions and potables that has potions and whatnot. You did see a couple general stores that are on your way out of town to the east, and Priscilla's is just north of the Cavern District.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
Okay. Is there any other ones you wanted to try to recall?
No, just the apothecary. That's it.
Okay. Cool. Everyone else, what would you like to do?
So if anybody knows something about this town, I'm not from these parts, so I'm just gonna follow you and hopefully get my things in order.
I think I'll do a history check as well to see if I can't remember if I saw a smithy around my way in.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me a history check. You think you might have saw one on the way in. It could have been called Freemasons or Freeman's Bastion or Free the Blades or some, I don't know, you don't remember. You just remember seeing someone hitting an anvil as you were coming into town. So you could probably assume it's on the way out, but you can't remember exactly what it was called. Yep.
All right. That if it does it for me.
Okay.
I'd like to swing by like a stall or somewhere to buy some, not rations per se, but something I can cook for the party later on if we camp somewhere.
Okay. You just gonna look out for something on your way out?
Eggs, bread, yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. So, y'all are heading out of the Mangled Heartstring Inn Tavern. Let me zoom out a little bit because it's a big map. Let me grab, who's the first one I got? Viha. We're going to use your token as the party token. Okay. So, recognizing that Rimple, you remember seeing in the Tower District up around here that that was Priscilla's place. Is that where y'all want to go first or whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I do want to keep an eye out for that smithy that I have a vague recollection of on our way there.
Okay. Easy enough. So there are certain places to cross the chasm that bridges have been made. So you cross the chasm, you head your way across, and it might not show it on the map, but there is a bridge just here, right about where you guys are. As you guys cross the bridge, heading out of the chasm district into the Tower District, you see a lot of people going about their day. The sun is beginning to shine, pop out around clouds around, say about 9 or 10 a.m. As everyone's going about their business for the day, you see a few homeless people inside the chasm district just kind of leaning against little walls with little cups outstretched. And as you exit the chasm district, everything begins to be a little more proper and a little bit higher class. The Tower District, as you enter into this area, you will notice that the individuals walking around are wearing more lengthy robes, carrying scrolls and parchment, and kind of walking around in groups, discussing. You catch noises, or you catch little conversations about certain arcane things. You hear like sigil, or you hear someone mention that like if you were to draw it like this, then you wouldn't have that happen. Just random things like that. It seems like this is the study part of Neverwinter. And heading toward Priscilla's, you see a single story building that is the base of it is made of stone, and then it connects with wood planks that just travel to the top of the story. There's a large door right in the center with two windows on either side. Through the windows, you can see red velvet curtains kind of draped over the windows. And there's a sign that's hanging above the door that says Priscilla's Potions and Potables. Potables, whichever way you want to say it.
Potion potables. Sorry, I was referencing
I've heard
SMO's
it say
Jeopardy.
both ways.
Pudding puttables.
The SNL Yeah,
It just
SNL
reminds me.
Jeopardy.
It just reminds me of SNL Jeopardy. You'd be like the vowels, potent puttables. But anyway, is this apothecary open right now?
There is a sign on the door that says open.
All right, I'm going to walk in and talk to probably the person in charge.
So, as is everyone else going into?
I'm gonna go in and browse for a little bit.
Okay. So, as you all walk in, you open the door and you hear the ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling from the bell above the door, signaling someone's walked in. You see high velvet curtains draped across almost every inch of this, the walls, and some flowing curtains draped across the ceiling, just cascading across. It's a very posh looking red crimson colored area. The lights are relatively dim, but between the curtains that lie everywhere, you can see glimpses, and you see the sheen, the shine of glass bottles that peek out behind it on, you notice shelves from floor to ceiling with different potions and whatnot. Behind the counter at the far end of this establishment, you see a very slender female elf with black hair tied behind her head in a tight ponytail, and she has glasses that kind of reach halfway down the bridge of her nose. And as you walk in, she says, yes, customers. Can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I was wondering if you got any sort of like antidotes.
Antidote. Is it a specific antidote or a general antidote?
Well, let's just say you get bit by a snake, and it turns out it wasn't a red and black friendly Jack, and you're like, oh my god, I fucked up that jump because I had disadvantage on that jump. Like that type of antidote.
Ah, yes. The oops, I got bit, or stabbed, or slashed type of antidote. Say no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she kind of walks off to the left, spreads a curtain aside, and reaches and grabs a little bottle about 2.5, 3 inches tall, corked tight, and there's like a wax seal with the wax kind of dripping down, connecting the cork to the bottle. Inside, you see a clear liquid that kind of has this red. I don't want to say red flakes, but there's some kind of debris, like little red debris that shimmers whenever it catches light. She goes, "Here is probably what you are looking for."
Now, this seems good. Now we're going to cut the tension. How much?
Ah, I like a man who gets right to the point. 15 gold for this.
Ooh, I looked a long way. How about maybe 8 gold?
Roll me a persuasion check. For everyone else, I'm not going to go over exactly all what's in here. However, if there is some sort of potion that you're looking for or anything like that, if you're looking for it, I will say that she will either... This is how... Okay, I want to throw this out there. This is how I run most of my shops. They will either have it on hand or they can get it in for you, essentially. So, essentially, nothing is off limits. It's just, if they have to get it from somewhere, it'll take a little while to get it in, or it will be in the shop for a price. Is that cool with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
I'm interested in looking for maybe potions from what I'm familiar with, like iron skin potions, something that can make me a bit more durable, even more durable than I am now.
Okay. Give me 1 second and go over to Rimple. Let me.
You know what? That's got a little steep because
I'm thinking. She says, and she smiles and she chuckles, and she says, "You know what? You brought a lot of friends with you. If they purchase something, I can let it go for 10."
Nah, sorry, girl. A little too steep for me. But thank you for the opportunity.
You are always welcome here if you wish to purchase things in the future.
Don't worry, we'll probably be back in the future.
I hope so. Viha, what were you looking for?
I'm looking for some sort of iron skin like potion. An armor class boosting potion, if possible.
Look what you might have. Do you have anything specifically in mind?
Basically just boost my armor class so I don't take as much damage if needed. Like if we come across something big and scary that can basically maul my face off, I want to be able to drink this potion before encountering it to make it less maul your face off, like, if that makes sense.
Okay, hang on. Let me write this. Let me look. Okay. She says, I like the way you think. And she goes to the right side of the counter and she whips aside curtains, kind of gets a little step stool and steps up about and reaches up to like a 11-foot tall shelf. She pulls down a couple potions and she holds one and she says, "This one is a potion of stone skin. And essentially, if you drink this, you have resistance to," she says, "non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage." And the other one she holds up, and she says that first one, she's like, "But this is a little expensive. However, this one here," and she holds it out to you, and she shows you, it's just like a muddy green color. It says, "This is a potion of boost, and it'll make it just a little bit harder for your adversaries to hit you." Essentially, it'll boost your AC a little bit.
Yeah. What am I looking at price-wise for either of them?
For the potion of stone skin, it is going to be 150 gold.
I'm sorry.
For this potion of boost, that is going to be 45 gold.
Shit.
I simply smile, say, "I'll be back," turn around and walk away.
Very well, it'll be here waiting for you.
I would say at this point and be like, "Okay, we need money. we need some.
First
some
love at adventurers, no adventure is going to buy.
I know.
I can't help you too much.
I know. I'm the same way.
How much is your most expensive item?
Our most expensive item, I cannot tell you what they are, but I can tell you a range. It is going to be over. Why do you ask? And she kind of furrows her brow.
I shrug, say, "Kidding."
Let's just say prices vary within the shop, and she smiles at you. Galen, you want 2 oil flasks and a glass bottle. It's a pint and 1.5 pints. Okay. Easy enough. She walks behind the counter.
Yep.
I really should have brought up my pricing guides.
I just sent it to you.
Okay, yep.
And of course you can adjust as you desire, but
3 gold total.
no, 3 gold for the glass bottle.
And then
For the oil
2
flask.
silver. Yeah, so she'll do 3 gold for both. Because they're very mundane.
Okay.
I have to be very careful now.
Well, is there
I
anything else I can help you all with? She smiles at all of you.
Are the stuff still on the table, which the guy asked, which our guys asked for, or did she put them away?
She put them back. So she gathered out what was asked for, showed it, let them decide if they wanted it, and when they said no, she put them back on the shelf.
Okay, well, I would just like to approach and ask for... And I would like to make sure that she looks into my eyes.
Okay.
Because of the background, and let's see how it goes. Well, if you could spare a bit of the patience for me.
But
Yes, what can I help you with?
I need possibly something cheap and decent enough just to keep me alive. Like a potion or something. I don't need something special, just to...
Potions of
to the
healing will keep
Yes.
you alive and well. What type of potion? We have potions of regular healing for those little bumps and scrapes that you might get, or something a little more, shall we say, perspective. Potions of greater healing, or even more, for those unfortunate bouts with whatever have you.
Just a normal one should do fine.
Okay, very well. And she goes to a separate portion of curtains, pulls that aside, and reaches down about waist high, and you see across that entire shelf is just potions of red liquid. And she pulls out one that's relatively small, and she says, "This is a regular potion of healing. That would be 30 gold."
What could I offer to you?
Well, if you have 30 gold, that would be beneficial to both of us.
A bit down. As you see, I'm possibly heading into great danger, and sure you would not like to lose a possible potential customer. If I live, I come back.
Well, every customer may be a returning customer. In my line of work, though, I try to keep everyone happy. Roll me a persuasion check. But unfortunately, you are a first-time customer, and I can't be sure that I'll see you again. 30 gold is the beginning standard to start our friendship.
I just say nothing, pull myself away from the counter.
Very well, if you would like to continue this friendship later, at a date of your choosing, I will always be here. And she gives like a low bow. to you.
I bow back and exit the shop and wait for the others.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to do inside Priscilla's shop?
No.
Does she have any pouches or anything that I could buy? Because I only have the backpack currently.
Pouches.
Like a coin purse size thing.
I normally don't sell them. It's what certain items are shipped in. And she says, 1 second. And she turns around and goes behind the counter. More velvet curtains are behind, and she kind of slips between them into a back room and is looking for something. While she's back there, do y'all want to discuss anything or do anything? Up to you.
I bring up the surrounding area, how it would be a good idea to take this as an opportunity to try and gather some info on either the Phandelver's Pact or the artifact or the forge. Given the fact that it seems to be a very well-informed, well-versed area.
Yeah.
Well, Priscilla turns around and you see her come back out, and in her hand she has this pouch about 6 or 7 inches in diameter. And she goes, "This is a leather pouch that came. One of my potions, larger potions, came wrapped in. I could sell this to you for 5 silver."
Perfect. So I put the 3 gold on there, as well as the 5 silver, and then an additional 10 for a tip.
Okay. The customer that I like. And she smiles at you and gives you a nice little bow.
I go ahead and put the glass bottle and the 2 flasks of oil into a small chest that has a bunch of other vials, and a book within its lid, and close it and put it back in my backpack, and then I shoulder it and catch up with the group.
Okay.
I thank her for her time.
All right. What is everyone doing? What are we doing now?
I'm just waiting for them to be done shopping.
All right. As you all exit Priscilla's, you meet up outside on the busy streets of the Tower District. Where to now?
Is there a... Well, first, do you want to go to the smithy first before you do anything else?
I think since we're in the area, we should just check and see what's around. Like if there's anything useful in the area before taking off. So
So what would you
I think
what would you like to look for in the area? Useful is a very broad term.
yeah, it's a very, very vague
You guys-
term.
You guys had talked about possibly asking somebody for some information. I don't know if that's really wise, but there were some scholarly folk that we walked by that could at least tell us more about the lore if we spoke.
Yeah, at least gather general information of where the Phandelver's Pact was, the area, or again the history of it. Because Vince did say that it was taught in school.
I don't know. I was
Trying to think
kind
here.
of homeschooled. So.
All right. Viha, since you're kind of going ahead with this, roll me a perception check, please.
All right.
Can I cast guidance, seeing how I'm aware and we're working towards the same goal?
Sure can.
Or better yet, can I help him so he can have it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, help action.
Vihad, go ahead and roll that again, please.
The roll the perception check again.
Yes. So Galen assisted you in that. They helped you. So that will give you advantage on your roll. So 12.
Okay.
You see a handful of individuals that look like scholarly individuals, kind of walking up and down the street. There's one that's kind of walking by themselves. A rather older gentleman, kind of crotchety, moving a little slower than everyone around him. Is the first person that catches your eye.
Where exactly is the name of we're looking for the Phandelver's Pact again? Where is it located?
The location that you guys are headed to is Phandalin. The location that was mentioned about the Phandelver's Pact was Wave Echo Cave. However, no one remembers where that is because it was lost to time.
Okay, Phandalin is. I want to just basically inquire Phandalin. Say we're meeting up with some friends there. We've never been. Is there any information you can give us about the area?
Youngster. Phandalin, I once heard about that place. It seems like it's just to the south of us in Neverwinter. Kind of rough and tumble town. It used to bustle a little bit, but for whatever reason, it got taken over by orcs and whatnot, I think it was, if memory serves correctly. But now it is it is somewhat of a frontier town. Have a wonderful day there, youngin. Dragon, or whatever you are.
And he continues walking.
I'm trying to be discreet about the info gathering, but
could y'all understood what I was saying?
You know, I honestly, it was overrun with orcs and such, so I know now at least to prepare for a little bit of a scuffle.
No, he was talking historically. He was saying that it used to be a big town. It got overrun by orcs and attacked, and people kind of fled or died. The orcs had it and held it for a little while, and then they left, and now people are starting to take it back over from nature. So it's kind of like an unpopulated...
Rough and tumble, think frontier town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as the voice that I was making came across properly, because sometimes the pops of the microphone kind of don't catch exactly what I'm saying, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
The B's
at
and
this
P's.
point, I'm just going to leave it to everyone else.
Okay.
So, do we need to run any more errands? You guys have?
We should get back to the wagons soon. We probably have time for one or two more.
Yeah, say it's about 11-ish a.m. from walking over there, getting to Priscilla's, doing your stuff. It's almost midday.
So if nobody has any other plans, then I say, since I have a vague recollection of where the smithy is, I'll ask if anybody else has any idea, if they recall seeing it.
No, cannot say that I have seen a smithy. Should I roll also a history?
Yeah, anyone that he's talking to, if anyone wants to roll a history check for the description of the smithy that he's talking about, anyone is more than welcome to roll.
Yeah, I saw no smithy on the way. Or
I don't know.
I'll go ahead and roll, seeing how I came into town with him.
Yep. Sure.
19.
As he's describing it, you lean forward and you re-describe what he's talking about, and you kind of point out Yeah, we walked right by it. It's this way, my guy. So Galen remembers
to
where
are
the
we?
smithy is,
Mm-hmm.
which would be it would be over
It
here.
just got hammered. Oh wait, wrong campaign.
It would be down south, Protector's Enclave. If you can see my ping, let me actually change the color of my ping so it's brighter.
How do you do that again?
Press and hold left click. So down here. Still can't.
Okay.
No. How do you change the color?
Oh, on where it
and-
says your name, you right click or you left click on the color next to your name at the bottom, and it should allow you to change the color. And he's gone.
Okay.
And goodbye.
And he's done.
Well, it was fun playing with you. See ya.
Yep, bye.
So y'all head down to the smithy. You travel across the bridge that you just traveled across again through the Chasm District. As you guys are traveling through the Chasm District, you see workers that are kind of in dirty overalls and dirty commoners' clothing. It seems like they're all heading to the chasm itself. And you see some of them have like lunch boxes and like some food wrapped in like cloth. You can kind of surmise that the chasm has kind of turned into a mining chasm. They are now the individuals of the chasm are now the workers to mine within the chasm itself. As you guys are walking over to the Protector's Enclave, there is a definite split between the Chasm District and the Protector's Enclave. Going from the individuals in dirty street clothes and workman's clothes opens up to individuals in regal, tight-fitting, base-flowing robes in all colors. There are like everyone's standing upright as they walk. Nearby, almost everyone that you see, there is a smaller individual wearing like blue tinted robes and clothing that's walking behind them briskly with a notepad or like a quill and ink, writing down as the individual in front of them is speaking. You see a large uptick in Town's Guard, Neverwinter Town's Guards, all wearing the sigil of Neverwinter on the front of their breastplate, a sword at their side, helmets under their other arm, as they usually walk in groups of 2 to 4 as you enter the Protector's Enclave proper. The buildings are beginning to rise above the single-story buildings or several 2-story wood log houses and buildings that you saw inside the Chasm District. These are all beginning to turn into nice column concrete stone buildings that rise 2, 3, maybe 4 stories into the sky. A nicer upscale area. Is there anything y'all would like to do on the way to the smithy inside the Protector's Enclave?
Not that I can think of.
Nah, I'd probably steal from them, but knowing they have swanky palaces means that they also have swanky guards, and I'm not dealing with that right now.
I was trying to let the rogue be the rogue, my guy.
I know, I know.
All right,
we'll,
go ahead.
We'll see in a couple of levels.
Right. All right, so heading down near the front entrance, the southern entrance to Neverwinter, one of the southern entrances to Neverwinter within the Protector's Enclave, you find yourselves at the familiar, that some of you would say are familiar, building that is called Freeman's Bastion. There is a smithy outside on an anvil next to a forge, hammering away. You hear the ting 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 as he's hammering away on his anvil. There's that individual that you see is about 3.5 foot tall dwarf. It's got a smock on, and their beard is kind of like split down the middle and tied behind their neck to keep it away from the heat.
No, I don't.
I'll use prestidigitation to create a cool gust of air while we're around.
Okay.
Okay.
Give him a refreshing change.
And as you guys walk up, he kind of stops hammering a little bit, stands up straight, and you see his beard kind of waft a little bit in the wind, and he goes, "Ah, that's nice. What can I do you for, friends? My name is Leon. This is Free Man's Bastion. You looking for some nice armor, some tools, some swords, weapons?"
I'm looking for some weaponry, swords, shields, that sort of lot. I don't have much to work with.
So what are you looking for? All right, so what kind of sword or what kind of...
For first I'm focused a shield that's, but I just have a basic shield right now. I want to inquire about what kind of shields he has and the pricing on those shields.
Okay. Well, basic shields.
Yeah, basic shields.
So
I have my
anything
shield
better?
has +2 armor class right now.
Right.
Anything better than +2 armor class.
So it is he has a very, he brings out, he sets down his hammer, he goes inside and he comes back out and he holds up a nice gleaming shield that on the very front there is a lion head that is kind of protruding. It's part of the shield, so it's kind of worked around a shape, right? And you see like a lion head protruding right around the mouth. There's like a spike in the very center. And he says, "This bad boy, it costs you 300 gold there, son." It's a +1 shield.
I'll definitely keep that in mind for next time I'm around. Thank you for your help.
Very well. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Unless anybody else has any business here, which I don't think so. They
Nope, not
take
yet.
off.
Yeah, y'all don't have much money at the minute.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of just doing window shopping at this point.
Yep.
We're at the part where you give a 7-year-old a $5 bill and he thinks it's like $20. We're at that part.
Yeah.
Y'all are understanding the world.
Does he have any extra coals that aren't currently in use?
You see off to the side there is like a large sack of coals.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to like ask him if I could buy 5.
I don't normally sell my coals. It's for making stuff and keeping the fire warm. But I guess I could part with 5 for 5 silver.
Okay.
That's an odd request, but I'm happy to take your money. Okay. Cool. Anything else? Anybody else?
I would like
Guys,
to
don't put me in charge of negotiating prices for things, okay? I've tipped twice.
Don't look at me either. I'm not that persuasive. I'm deceptive, not persuasive.
I'm a barbarian, not a bard.
Actually, sadly, I think your perception might be, or persuasion might be better than most.
All right.
Anyway.
So, where to now?
I'll leave it to the party. I can't think of anything else.
If we are finished with all our errands, I think it should be a time for us to move, eat something, and get along the road.
Okay. So the stables are actually right in front of you, just inside the entrance that you are nearby. If you wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, as you head over to the stables, you see a handful of small, or not necessarily small, but upper teenage males just kind of mucking out stalls and just being general stable hands. There's a handful of stalls with horses. There's about 3 or 4 wagons kind of parked off to the side. You see one wagon that is hitched up to 2 horses currently at the minute near the gate side of the stable. Looks like it's about to head out. And on the exterior of the stable, sitting in a chair, you see a about a 40, maybe 60-ish year old male little halfling just kind of sitting there puffing on a pipe with a little frock on. And says, well, hey there, well, welcome. You looking to take some horses out?
Greetings.
Greetings.
We have a wagon prepared for us by Sildar Hallwinter.
Yeah, Sildar. He came by yesterday and paid some money for a wagon and horses and said people would be coming to pick it up.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you guys are the ones.
assume correctly.
All
Can you
right,
show
all
us
right.
To the
Yes.
wagon and our horses. I hope they are ready for a long trip.
Indeed they are. And he kind of stands up and points toward the wagon that's already prepared with 2 horses, and he says, also, there are some supplies in there that should go to Phandalin is, I think, the destination that Sildar said y'all were going to. Just some supplies to drop off at Barthen's Provisions.
Excellent. Thank you. And I would like to approach the wagon and check what we have inside exactly.
On the back of the wagon, there's a handful of boxes that are kind of nailed up. There are a few barrels that are kind of closed up as well. There's little sacks that you can kind of tell contain like mining pickaxes and shovels and little wares for mining and whatnot. And most of them, the bag, the boxes and the barrels all have a stamp on them and of a lion head on like a shield, like one of those 3-pointed shields. It's a lion head on the shield is kind of brand, like a brand on everything.
Okay. I don't believe that I recognize.
If I recall,
this
that's
field.
I recall that that's similar to the crest I saw with sigiled. General perception check using my mercenary to just kind of re-gauge the crest.
Sure. Go ahead. This sigil symbol you really don't recognize. It seems to be a personal business logo.
Okay.
Yeah, just a business's logo that they've put on their property.
Okay then. I believe we are all set. Shall we head out?
Yep, I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Oh shit.
I've already climbed up in shotgun.
Okay.
Anyone
to know.
take the reins?
Hey, everyone broke bitches now? Good. That's what
Who's
I say.
driving?
That's what I say after every shopping episode as a DM. I'm like, everybody broke bitch? Okay, good.
I wasn't expecting this to be a shopping episode.
No, it's the one to be though.
I know, I should have known. So anyway, as you all gather up yourselves and pick your spots on this wagon that is pulled by two horses, one off-white grayish horse and one brownish horse, and you begin to make your way out of Neverwinter along the high road south, as you were instructed from Sildar. It will take you a few days, possibly, to get to Phandalin as instructed, as you begin about midday on your trail along the high road, leaving Neverwinter and the bustling city streets behind, opening up to wide open fields, single lane road, trees, hills, rolling hills in front of you. As you all head out of the gates down the high road for the first leg of your journey, it's the second half of your first day together as a party, a full party anyway. Can I have Aster? Can you roll me a d20, please?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do anything either.
Sure. Oh, where is it? Damn window.
Okay. And 11. As you all are on the wagon heading south down the high road, the wind begins to pick up slightly. The clouds begin to cover and cover the sun a bit. It seems like there may be a storm coming in off from the east. However, the rest of the day turns to evening, which turns to night. Nothing of consequence happens. It seems like your first portion of this travel has gone unimpeded, and it may be time to bed down for the night.
Same thing. I'm gonna grab everyone before we go to bed and give out 2 berries to everyone, seeing how the other ones went bad by now.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna go take care of the animals with animal handling 20.
By the way, if you need help with small animals, I can speak with animals because of my gnome feature.
Aw, fuck yeah.
Thank
Nice.
you for the good berries.
Because
I'll help you with
gnomes,
the animal handling.
because I one of my racial traits is speak with small beasts. You communicate, but they have to be small beasts. So like cows, no. Squirrels, yes.
Yes. So are you guys trying to find a nice place to bed down for the night?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is looking for a decent place? Are y'all just gonna park on the road or try to find somewhere off the beaten path away?
I have a +4 to my perception, so I'll roll a perception check to survey the area to find a good place to hunker down.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Oh yeah.
Okay, as darkness overtakes, it's hard to see past 30, 40 feet ish off the path. There's no lights around. It's tough for you, Viha, to see. However, you do see the silhouettes of a small group of trees off the beaten path that may be a decent place to bed down for the night.
Can I go ahead and light a torch and check the area out?
Yeah.
Since it's dark, give myself some light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you
Okay.
see a little circle of trees that has a nice little 30 by 30 foot area that might be okay to bed down and kind of hide yourselves away from the road or have a little bit of privacy.
Okay. I let everyone know that I found a good area and that when we're done with everything, that we should make our way there.
Does it look safe enough?
Are you asking me or asking him?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Would I roll another perception check to figure that out?
With the perception check that you rolled already, you don't really see much around.
Yeah.
So it could be
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. I let him know that I didn't see anything worthy of caution.
I rolled survival to check for paw prints or anything that indicates that predators might be around this area or passing through.
It doesn't seem like. I mean, you see a handful of prints, small animals, occasional like deer prints, maybe some boar prints, but nothing that's crazy concentrated. There's no game trails, nothing like that you can see.
Okay.
Hey, Vito, really quick. Your map screens are up.
Huh?
Your map screens are up. I
On
see
what?
them on the stream. On the stream.
Yeah, I know. I can't
see
do anything
your-
about that.
Okay, just letting you know.
I appreciate it.
Well, taking everything that was said, I would like to spread my wings and do a round of the indicated place that Vika said that we could have a night there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you all take care of the animals, you're taking the wagon and the horses over to that little area as well?
Yes.
Okay. Easy enough. You get the wagon, the cart, and the horses, and you draw them over to that that little clearing that Viha pointed out. And it looks cozy enough away, maybe about 40, 50 feet away from the road itself. You really didn't see many other travelers on the high road as you were heading south.
What should I see from like 40, 50 feet height up in the air?
You
My
don't
dark
see.
vision?
You just see rolling hills of trees and hills and wooded terrain around you. You don't see lights. You don't see anything like that.
Okay.
If that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm flying up in the air and checking the place. If something was missed, because I also have a dark vision. And should I roll something while I'm in the air?
No,
Or
whether or not you
okay.
roll something or not, you're still gonna find the same thing. So I'm not gonna make you have to roll for it.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm gonna fly back down, tuck my wings, and yeah, looks safe enough for all of us.
Okay.
Who's gonna cook? I mean, I'm hungry. We had just a breakfast. I don't know about you guys. Do we have something? Should we hunt for something?
Well, I've
Yeah.
got
Don't look at me.
I've got meal stuff that I purchased before we left, but I figured that we'd cook it tomorrow, so it's a 3-day trip.
Yeah, I have a day of rations and a mess kit.
I should have rations too.
So
Okay,
rations it
Real
is.
quick, I don't know how many people here know about the good berries, but the good
Yeah,
berries
we
also,
Yeah.
if you eat one, you're sated. You're
Safe
not
for the
hungry
day,
anymore.
Okay. So I'll just save my ration, just pop one in my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna also then pop a good berry.
Okay. Easy enough. Is there anything else y'all would like to do before you bed down? So you just brought over the wagons and horses and you popped your good berry. And you're kind of
Does
just
somebody
in
wanna-
the clearing.
Do we want to start a fire? Should somebody gather some sticks?
What time is it? Well, I know
Right
it's
now
dark,
it is,
but-
it's dark. It's probably about 9-ish. You want to put a
Okay.
time to it?
Guess if you guys want to stay up and chat a bit about, kind of strategize a bit for the night, we could go ahead and start a fire.
Yeah, sure. It would be a good opportunity to maybe get to know each other a bit, since we are gonna travel together.
Sounds good. So y'all light a fire, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. So, as y'all light a fire and get yourselves ready for get yourselves ready to bed down. If you guys want to take a watch, I will allow it to be 2 watches during the night. So two of you can be on at the same time while allowing the other 2 to be on at the later time, and that'll satiate your long rest. It just allows you guys to be able to have those conversations, just to get to know each other a little bit. But before
Okay.
you guys go on watch, if you guys want to sit around the fire all together and chat, you are more than welcome to do that. I'm just giving you the idea for if you guys decide to keep watch.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, so we start the fire, kind of huddle around, get the watch situation figured out, talk amongst ourselves, and then take it from there.
Yeah. So, where y'all from?
Oh,
I don't really talk about it. My village was, to say the least, massacred.
I came from a big house.
and I'm from a land a bit far away.
I'm from all over.
Oh,
Oh. So it looks like
I've-
we've been everywhere and anywhere.
yeah.
I've
seems so.
spent time in an elven tribe. I've spent time with a fellowship of dwarves.
I
I'll
was
reach inside my tunic. I'll reach
That's
inside my
tough.
tunic and pull out a necklace that has 2 silverish rings on it.
Neat.
That
Interesting.
the dwarves worshipped. Fuck me. Where's my phone?
I don't carry many things on me. I travel light, always traveling here and there, fulfilling contracts for coin.
How did you all get to know about Obi? I mean, as it seems we were spread all around the world and he still managed to gather all of us.
Well, I had so I'm actually from Luskin. I was part of a thieves guild. I did some low-level work, pickpocketing and sending messages to frame people. And then I kind of pickpocketed Obi a little bit, and he kind of saved me from a stint in jail, so I kind of owe him a favor. That's how I came to be.
I woke up one day in a bed in Obi's house. He told me he found me unconscious, severely wounded outside of my village. I only assumed he saved my life. I did manual labor around his place for room and board, but that was about it. As I took off, I told him I owe you one. I was joking at the time, but given the nature of his hospitality, I feel more than obliged to repay him.
Interesting. So it seems I'm a bit a black sheep all around you. Because I never met Obi directly. I'm basically here as a letter was given to me by a higher force. And you can notice that Esther like shivers a bit, just moves his head a bit to the side. It's not something that he can let out so easily. But well,
ahead.
He found me wandering in the woods and took me in, and I've been doing odd jobs, and I've always been excited about it, going on an adventure, and his odd jobs sometimes become slightly larger tasks unexpectedly, and I find myself in challenges all the time.
All right.
well.
So, as you guys sit around the campfire and exchange how you knew Obi, and you all thinking of the prospect of possibly not seeing him again to repay that favor, or possibly not completing the favor, as it were. Who wants to take first watch?
I'll take it.
I'll volunteer. You want to go together?
Sure.
Me and Rimble, and then Galen and Astra can stay back.
Easy enough. Aster and Galen, you decide to bed down for the night as Viha and Rimple take the first watch. So Viha and Rimple, can I please have you make perception checks for me?
Sure thing.
And do.
Crit.
Nice.
Okay. Let's take a look here. All right, so the both of you get out on your watch. Not sure what the night will bring, and it kind of instills a bit of fortitude in each of you. You don't begin, your eyes don't begin to flutter. You're very you sense your surroundings very well. Let's put it that way. You notice the occasional little noise of a branch shifting, seeing the little bit of a shadow of like a squirrel darting off, or you hear the little echolocation of bats that fly over occasionally. But during your watch, is there anything that you guys would like to discuss?
What do you think of this whole situation, Obi and all? Make small talk at first.
Rimple, you might be muted.
Oh, sorry. Um, sorry, I zoned out for a second. My cat, sorry, out of game. My cat was getting into stuff. I might have had to step away and take care of it. But anyway, so you're a. I don't really make small talk. You ever stolen anything? What's the biggest thing you ever stole?
No, I don't really steal. Typically, if I want something, I take it.
Good.
What about
good.
you? Well, I guess I take it by force. I should elaborate on that.
No, see, I have this thing where it's not happening yet. I'm trying to basically, trying to. Okay, so it's gonna sound silly, but I kind of want to learn magic. I can learn some magic, like I know some minor illusion spell, and you see him outstretch his hand, and you see what appears to be like a silver flame, but it's like so friggin' small. I mean, I can make sound, but I really don't want to make sound right now if everybody's sleeping.
Yeah.
But I've also been working on something called I read in the book called Mage Hand. And he like takes out his palm hand, and you see the starting of a mage hand. He can only do like a thumb right now. Well, it's not more of a hand; it's more of a thumb. Hopefully, I can use my mage hand to help with stuff. What about you?
Me, I have my breath, but I prefer a more hands-on approach. I like getting right up to my target's face. I like making them fear me. There's just a certain sense of strength and power derived from
Ah,
feeling the fear and helplessness.
cool.
Finish your conversation. You kind of, each of you take your little bit of time to walk around the camp and keep an eye out for anything that may pop up, or just kind of protect the wagons. Occasionally you go over to the horses and give them little pets as they're sleeping, little neighs here and there, a little bit of snoring from Aster and Galen, but the rest of your watch goes uneventful, and it may be time to wake up the other two for their watch.
Hey, wake up!
What is it? Oh,
I nudge Galen.
Tag, you're it.
oh. And I'm wiping like sweat off my face. Oh yeah, okay, give me a second.
I sit down by Galen, nudge him until he's awake. You're up, Galen. And then I lay down and almost immediately fall asleep.
I spring up with almost way too much energy.
Time to get on the road already?
Yeah, sort of. I'll go check the animals again.
Okay,
with,
can I have
21, just to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, they seem to be fine.
Cool.
Can I have you both, Aster and Galen, roll me perception checks, please?
14.
Okay.
Mine. Just a second. 4.
Okay. As your watch begins, you hear the immediate snoring, and a little bit of smoke coming out of Viha's nose as they just immediately passed out. Rimple is not snoring, being very silent. You can't tell if they're asleep or not. Kind of like death. They're very sneaky when they're sleeping. So,
Still dagger on the pillow.
Yep. Dagger under the bread roll, good to go.
Yep.
Galen and Aster, is there anything you guys would like to chit chat about during your watch?
Well, I would
There doesn't
really
have to be.
appreciate-
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
force you guys to talk. I'm
know.
just allowing you the ability to.
Yeah. I really appreciate your hospitality and your effort in the inn, Galen.
I'm just excited to meet people and go on an adventure. Hope we
Yeah.
find Abby. Or this magic thing.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of attitude is a rare to find. What do you think that awaits us? Possibly Obi got himself into real trouble. Or, what do you think?
Well, he seems capable. He's probably just drawn up somewhere. But, I mean, this sounds like the thing of legends. So I'm excited.
Yeah, indeed. Something ancient and magical.
So,
Can
Go
I
ahead.
try to find a stick?
we'll say with your, yep, sure, you find a stick.
Okay. I've just
Not
got
a-
a small whittling knife,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna kind of start poking at it.
Uh,
Nothing really shows yet.
nope. Nothing really shows. Give me a just a general. Just give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm working on making like a four-headed totem of us.
Nice.
11.
So it's a little rough. It kind of looks like as you take some time to whittle it throughout the rest of your watch. Obviously, you have what you want it to look like in your mind's eye. However, when it comes out to you're like, yeah, okay. It's kind of just like 4 pointed notches that are from the little stick, with like bulbous little pieces here and there. Everything's still kind of sharp. A few points, the wood splintered, and you tried to fix it, so it made like a notch out of the side of one of the 4 bumps. It's rough. It's pretty rough, but it's a good starting point, and you're relatively pleased that you've made it that far. Looking over to show Aster, it seems that Aster may have dozed off a little bit during the last little bit of your watch while you were whittling. But the rest of your watch, allowing Aster to catch a little extra couple Z's, the watch goes uneventful, and the sun begins to rise as everyone begins to wake up for another day on the high road south.
Mm-hmm.
And can we just have a note?
Doodle-doo.
Maybe Esther blurred out something in his sleep. DM, you know which part. You should know from the background, because he has nightmares.
Yeah.
And that was the cold sweat, and
Yep.
just to take a note.
Yep.
It should be relevant.
Galen, as Aster kind of dozed off, seemed to be sweating and murmuring in their sleep. See occasional little tear down their cheek a little bit as they're muttering during the last little bit before the sun begins to rise.
Can I mark a sleep spell off and try to help him get deeper into sleep?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
As that's happening, Aster, as you're having these dreams, the last little bit that you remember, the darkness from the dream kind of gets overtaken by subtle whites and blues, as if you're looking into fluffy clouds, and it kind of simmers you down a little bit, and then darkness as sleep kind of takes you over without any unrest.
Ah.
Nice. So you all wake up the next morning. What are y'all doing?
Kind of gathering my bearings.
Yeah, me too.
Just woke up. I suggest we just get back on the road as soon as possible.
Well, as I also wake up, do you want me to maybe fly off and scout ahead? If you agree with that, I can cover some distance.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm gonna spread my wings, break a few bones, and scout ahead.
Okay.
Not too far, like
Right.
15 minutes or so along the road.
Okay. Now as you guys get back up and get the horses around and the wagons and suss out the fire and bring it back to the road proper, and Aster flies up in the air and begins to fly ahead of the group. Rimple, can I have you roll me a d20, please?
Sure thing. D20.
And he rolls a Demogorgon.
Don't be
D20.
stupid. Don't be stupid. It's a mind flayer.
So, as you all are traveling down, for about half the day ish, it gets about noontime. The sun is as high in the sky. The clouds that were overhead yesterday and into the evening kind of departed. It seems like it didn't rain too much away in the distance, and the storm just kind of went around you all. Aster, you notice off in the distance along the trail, there is a bridge coming up. And you kind of notice on the other side of the bridge, that is over like a little river, there's pieces of a cart that seem to have been smashed, strewn about the area, or supplies, little barrels, boxes, sacks. You see the glint of like metal just occasionally scattered throughout the landscape around the bridge.
Okay. As I see that, I'm turning around and flying back to the group.
Okay.
Guys, unexpected news. As I fly down, there should be a bridge ahead of us,
Uh-huh.
and I have seen a broken cart.
Like,
And,
how broken is this cot?
like, broken stuff laying around, pieces of metal scattered around.
Does it look like,
I'll grab my
it
black-
was a attack? Because then, like, you see Rimple just already, like, hand on his rapier. He's not doing anything, but he's like,
Sounds like an
just in
attack to
case
me.
he's...
Yeah, really.
Right.
I don't know if it was an attack or something, but possibly we should tread a bit carefully.
Is the debris on our side of the bridge, on the bridge, or beyond the bridge? DM?
Aster, you would have seen the debris on the other side of the bridge, the far side of the bridge.
The far side. Yeah, it's on the other side, on the far side of the bridge.
Could be an ambush.
Well, if it's an ambush, we don't want to stop on the bridge.
What? Any got?
Do we
anyone
leave the
got any
wagon here
idea?
and check it out on foot first?
Well, let's get a little bit closer. That way we're not leaving the wagon unattended.
Okay, I'm gonna return to the air, like trailing.
It's about
Gonna
10
move
minutes ahead.
to-
Do you want to scout it out?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and scout it out.
Okay, so Aster, you're flying, and then
Yep.
Viha, you're walking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought the rogue might stealth and scout.
Oh. Okay, then yeah. Rimble can go ahead and take care of that if he wants.
I'm flying next to the cart.
Oh, you're flying next to the cart. Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, DoorDash was here. Anyway, yeah, I'll scout.
How close are you guys getting before you start to scout ahead?
How close we want to go, guys?
I'll leave that up to your guys' discretion. As long as the cart's
figured-
within visible range of us when we go scout, then it reduces the risk of it being looted if we get ambushed.
I figured probably like 20 feet before the bridge,
Okay.
and then I'll dismount from the bridge like I'm looking at the wagon or inspecting our goods or something, and I'll just stay with the wagon for a second.
Okay.
Guidance on the rogue.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right. As you guys scout ahead and you head out toward the bridge, there is your wagon. If you all can see the wagon.
I can see the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me
Yeah, I see it.
get you all.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Let me get you all
Settled in.
tokens set. And the tokens are here.
Okay, I'm going to roll that stealth and get about 20 feet away from the wagon.
Okay. Yeah, you are free to move your token once you tell me what you want to do.
No. I don't think guidance is going to help me. No. 9 with a nat 1.
Okay. You think you're being stealthy?
Yeah. Don't worry, guys! I got it!
Keep your voice down.
That sucks at proficiency and stuff, too. I'm a rogue.
So where are you headed, Rimple?
I'm going to take my large metal feet and go stomp, stomp, stomp,
Yep.
and go about to one of the wheels. Hang on one second. I'm going to go about. Wait, where's the broken down wagon? Oh, there it is. I see it. I see it. Never mind. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go about here. There
Okay.
we go. Then I'm gonna look to the people and go oh.
Anybody else?
Nothing.
I'll go ahead and follow him.
Okay.
I'm up in the air and I could check out this side away from the beach and look under the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, probably right in front of where he is.
Because I'm flying, so I can stay above the river.
Okay. Galen?
Can I move the wagon forward, like 5 feet so that it's up along this hill to our side. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I can't rotate
And
it
then I will.
specifically anymore. It'll go like that. But
I get it.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back in the driver's seat, but paying attention behind us mostly.
okay, let me put that on the map layer so you can sit on top. You already did. Okay. Good. All right. So, what do y'all? So, Aster, roll me a perception check. Rimple and Viha, are you investigating the wagon?
What I want to do is I want to go about, I want to say 20 feet ahead of where Rimple is, and then roll a perception check in that area. See what I see there.
What are you looking for?
Any signs of, people hiding, any traces of anything left by. Again, I'm looking to see if there's an ambush in place.
Okay. Yeah, go where
Someone's
you're gonna
waiting
go.
to attack. Okay. So let me just come through real quick. Going up there. Should be about, how far is that? Yeah, it's about exactly where I want to go. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna roll that perception check.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the roll.
Okay. And there it goes. 15.
Okay. Rimple. Were you doing something as well?
Yeah, I'm going to. God. How far do I have to be in order to investigate it?
I'll say you're fine to investigate.
Right.
It would just be like the distance you are away wouldn't be noticing every single thing, but at face value, you know what I mean? You're not touching anything. You're just kind of looking at it.
I'm not touching. I'm just looking around.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
not touching anything. So I'm gonna roll investigation. See what I find.
Sure. The wagon was broken. However, it seems like everything was kind of piled up. It didn't seem... It's not like a wagon that just like broke down and got left there. It looks like the wagon was like dismantled and smashed a little bit, and things were placed to sit where they are currently.
And it does bottleneck the path.
It does.
Okay.
So you notice that. Viha, Aster, I'm sorry, did you roll me a perception check? Aster did.
Yeah.
So looking underneath the bridge, you don't see anybody under there. You don't see like extra debris in the water. You don't see any trolls right under the bridge. It just looks like a regular bridge. There's no traps, no explosives that you can see, anything like that. Viha, as you get where you are, with your perception check, over in this direction, you do notice a little bit of fabric between some branches, like in the bush itself.
Okay. Would I do an investigation check to see like what kind of fabric I'm looking at?
You want to walk up to it?
And
Get
check it
closer
out?
to it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, walk up to it
Okay, go ahead.
and see what I'm dealing with here.
Okay. As you walk up to the bush, you feel the bush shift a little bit, and you see a shiny metal pointed object thrust out of the bushes. Does a 11 hit you? Hit your AC?
AC 14.
Okay. So this, whatever it looks like, is now seems to be a blade, shoots out of this bush and just misses you as you kind of shift yourself around to the right a little bit. And I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Damn it.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. What if I said? I'll discuss it later. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Wrong one.
Oh, I forgot to click my token.
Like your tokens, please. I'll take care of it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can
Token.
add one for me, I can put it in.
Turn.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Click. Okay, now roll initiative. For you. I think I did that right.
Hang on, let me. How do you remove someone from the turn order?
You gotta delete their token.
Oh, I got it. I got it. All right, and then we have Aster. A turn, and you rolled a what? A 13?
13, yeah.
Okay. And then Rimple. A turn, and you got a what? Rimple 19?
Yep.
If you add me, I'll put in my number. That way you can add me.
Your number is 12?
5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Mine double rolled, but the first one was 7.
For initiative? Okay.
Yeah.
7. Okay, let's see here. All right. So, me get there. Get the initiatives.
Are there other people on the turn order? I only see 2 currently.
There are. Wait, what is this goblin?
I mean, I only see Aster and Rebel currently.
Yeah, me too.
I see Justin, Aster, Galen, and Rimple. So if you refresh your page, you'll hopefully be able to see all of them.
Oh, it's because my computer was okay. Fucking hell, my computer was
No.
logging in,
Oh, I got you.
No.
took over my roll 20.
Okay.
I'm only seeing. I see Aster, Rimple, and Steve. I just refreshed my page. Galen. It's only popping up. Steve.
All right. So, top of the order. Rimple, you look over and you see Viha kind of lean in towards a bush to investigate something, and you see the sheen of a blade shoot out at Viha. And you see that
Right.
individual.
I'm going to take my short bow and attack the enemy with it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
With. Then I'm going to move behind this tree. What the hell?
Oh, your short bow. Your arrow just flies wide over Viha's head and C's head as it misses. And would you like to do anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Aster, you are up.
I'm. Galen, he has a vision on this man, yeah?
I'm sorry?
Galen's got vision on this enemy or not, yeah? He should have.
Yeah, he could probably see it. He saw something happen with Viha.
Okay, I'm flying another 15 feet in the air. I'm just gonna shout to Galen. Possible ambush. And I'm gonna fire Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
That's a 7.
Your Eldritch Blast shoots wide over Viha and C there.
And I'm gonna move 15 feet. The rest of my movement,
Okay.
like here. That's it.
Easy enough. All right. So, C is going to step out of the bush, looking at Viha, and they're going to whistle. And at that point, Galen, someone pops up near you, and someone from underneath beside the cart pops up. More individuals. C is going to take that sword again and slice out at Viha. Oof. For a 5. Misses.
14.
Yes. So they swing out again, and they kind of trip themselves up as they're getting out of the bush, so the blade goes a little wide. And they're going to say, ah, shit. The one next to Galen is going to jump over the little piece of stonework that's there. And you see a female human with like dirty green colored robes, and she unsheaths a sword and says, you fell right into it, didn't you, young guy, small guy? Here you go. And she swings out the blade at you for a 16 to hit.
It does hit, yes.
Okay, and the damage is going to be 4 slashing damage. I'm sorry, 5
Okay.
5 slashing damage. It's plus 5 slashing damage.
Okay.
Okay, and then she will hold where she is there, and then the last one is going to pop out, climb through the bush, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, walk over to Rimple, and it's about a 6 foot tall dude with cut off sleeves and flowing black hair, super grungy, super dirty. Takes his sword out and just kind of chuckles and tries to stab down at Rimple. Come on. Come on. There we go. For a 21 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Okay. For 5 damage as well.
Ow.
Yes.
That sucks.
Yes, it does.
And I'm bloodied.
You guys do have 2 berries, as we ate one last night before bed, and I would have refreshed and given you 2 each before bed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I made sure to update my berries.
Okay. Easy enough. Viha, you are up. Galen, you are on deck.
Okay, what I do is I pull up my longsword and make a swing at him.
Okay. Roll to hit.
So, how do I do that again? I don't think I did it in the session 0.
It's the plus number next to your longsword. That's a little box you can click.
Okay. I'm not seeing it.
Is it in your? Are you on actions or inventory?
I'm in inventory. Sorry.
Okay, so go to actions. You're fine.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
Yep, that's the 2 hit, the plus. 22. That is definitely gonna hit.
Mhm.
Roll me damage. It is a long sword, so
And that,
damage is that next little box next to it.
yeah.
Okay.
It
So
double clicked on me.
So were you swinging out with one hand or two?
Just one.
Okay. So just remember that for the future. Before you roll damage, let me know if you roll it one or two hands. Just a thing to remember. So 7 slashing damage to that one there. Okay. Oof.
Okay. Time to get that mouse.
Okay, as you lay out this this long sword at C in front of you, kind of a pompadour, red-haired individual, nice jawline. You just stab at him, you slash at him, and it cuts across his chest, doing 7 damage. He looks really bloodied. After that one hit, he almost drops to his knees and just cries out in pain as blood starts pouring down his chest. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Can I interact with him, or is that no?
No, that would be an action.
Okay, then no, there's nothing I do after that.
Okay. Well, if you want to say something, you can just say a few words. I'll allow it as a free action. Oh, okay.
No, I want to do more of a detailed action.
Okay. Easy enough. All right. So, Galen, you are up. Rimple, you are on deck.
Got it.
Okay. For my bonus action, I would like to eat a berry.
Okay. Gulp.
Let me fix that really quick. Can you see our health bars?
Yes.
Okay. So updating actually is doing something for
Yes.
because I can't see anyone else's.
Right. I think you can see your own. I can see everyone's.
Okay, cool. And then with that, I would like to use my movement to try to move forward onto the wagon or onto the bridge.
Okay.
Like here, just at the beginning of the bridge.
Okay.
So we're just imagining the bridge is in me, or the wagon, because now it's part of the map.
So you're trying to move. You're riding the wagon to the edge of the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I will.
So she gets an attack of opportunity, either me or on me or the horses.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. They kind of are on top of you, so I'll leave them just behind. She's gonna try to swing out at you as you attempt to flee.
Okay.
That is going to be a 10 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, as you drive the wagon,
lean out and push the shield out to block.
Kind of throws her off her feet a little bit. She goes, "Ah, damn it." Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No, that's bonus action. Oh, I get an action. I will cast Sacred Flame back at her.
As your action?
Dex save.
Okay, it is a Dex save is going to be a
14 or
20.
above.
A 20.
Did you say a 12?
20. 20.
I've lost everything. I can't hear anything.
Okay.
There we go. Did you say 12?
20. 20. Can you hear me? Galen?
Hello.
There we go. I'm back.
You hear me?
Did you say 12? Yes, I can.
Okay, 20. 2-0.
Okay, so she takes 1 hit.
Okay. Okay, she takes 1 sacred flame as a flame erupts from you and travels direct towards her as she is just finishing swinging the
Vito,
sword.
not talking, Vito.
That would be my...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yep, as the sacred flame shoots out, flame kind of engulfs her arm as she's swaying out at you with her sword, and she takes that 1 bit of sacred flamey damage. Easy enough. All right, top of the round is Rimple.
Your audio was janky.
Hopefully it's better now.
All right, I'm going to bonus action, pop that good berry in my mouth,
Okay. Yeah.
restore me to full health, and then I am going to attack with my rapier to this dude.
Okay.
And
Lethal or non-lethal?
A
Well,
9
lethal or
does not
non-lethal?
hit. A 9 does not hit.
depends on how chaotic neutral I want to
So
be that day.
it's technically non-lethal because you missed him.
Yeah.
You poked out and it went just under his arm, between his waist and the crook of his arm. He's like, ha ha, as he kind of dodges around
I really wish I didn't waste that crit on fucking perception check.
it.
Anyway,
else
that's
did you-
end my
You damaged
turn.
the air
That's
around
it?
him.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm done.
All right, Aster, you are up.
I'm gonna attack A with my Eldritch Blast.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, that'll definitely hit. Roll me some damage.
Ooh, the good damage. 6.
Oh, why did that do that? That's weird. If you put, like in D&D Beyond, where it gives you the option to, like, it pulls up your heal or damage portion for HP. If you put minus a number and click damage, it adds it. Just to let you know. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that individual, after missing the hit on Galen and then being shot by Sacred Flame, and then another blast of Eldritch energy hits her in the back and she stumbles forward. Her body's starting to look singed and she's not looking too good. She's looking real bloodied. Is there anything else?
That ends my turn.
Okay. All right, so C is going to step out toward the water so they can see their friends and kind of shake their head that they're not doing too well either. And C just going to say, well, I mean, you want to fight, you got one. We're going to take your shit either way. And C is going to slash out with their blade at Viha for a 4.
Miss again.
Yeah, that misses. He's more concerned about his compatriots than he is. He's just trying to fend you off at this point. And that's all he is going to do at the minute. Next, B in front of Rimple will look out and see that Eldritch Blast hit his friend, and he's going to get this weird look in his eye, and he's going to block Rimple's path to the bridge and say, we're in it to win it now. You ain't going nowhere, little man. And he swings out his blade at Rimple for a 22 to hit.
That hits.
And you will take low 3 points of slashing damage as his blade just slices across your arm and catches you. And he says, "Ha! You're no match for the Shadow Blades. Let's go." And next,
Your pact has a shit name, and I say it as a free action.
yep. And that just makes him get angry. A is going to kind of hobble out towards the edge, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like around the cart. And she says, we're gonna take it all from you. You're not going anywhere. And she slashes out at the horse's leg closest to her. That's not good for a 6 to hit. She is looking super rough. She swings out at the horse's leg. It kind of like swishes its tail like it's batting a like a fly away from its butt, and its leg kind of picks up, and her sword goes underneath the foot and hits the side of the wagon, and she kind of loses her stride and just ends her turn there. Next, Viha, you are up, followed by Galen.
Could I like whistle to get everyone's attention just to kind of make everyone focus on me? What I'll do is kind of just generally draw everyone's attention to my and C and I's fight. Grab him by the neck. Say, I didn't want to have to do this, but you're gonna play that way. Breathe a cone of necrotic breath at him.
Okay, so that is a dex save, right? Or is there a save for that?
Yeah, 11 dex.
Okay. Let me give dex save. Whoa, 19. So he takes half damage.
So go ahead and roll damage.
Does he take? He takes half on a success, right?
Takes half.
Okay, he takes 1 point. And you kind of yell at him, and he's a little bit shorter than you. So as you expel this necrotic energy forth from your mouth, it kind of catches like the upper part of his body, but just shifts slightly and just does a little bit of damage. He's looking really hurt though. Looking really hurt. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
That's it.
Okay. Easy enough. Galen, you are up.
I would like to try to bonk this lady from the higher advantage of standing on the seat for non-lethal.
Okay. Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
I was going to try to bonk her on the head with my hammer.
Okay,
for
that's what I thought you said.
From standing on the seat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 4.
That is not gonna hit. You're gonna swing down, and she's just a little bit lower than you are able to reach.
Okay.
You swing a hammer at me? What the fuck? Is that a child's toy?
With that, I'm going to summon Unseen Servant behind her.
Okay, let me see if I can get a token.
It's fine if you can't. I mean, we pretty much know where it is.
Okay, let me just do this then. Right behind her?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the ground behind her. Yeah.
Yep. Got it. Cool. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Easy enough. Top of the round. Rimple, you're up. Ask to your own deck.
I'm going to attack him twice because I have 2-weapon fighting. first with the rapier, then with the dagger.
Okay. Yeah.
So the rapier is 14.
That hits.
Oh, finally, I hit something.
Yep.
And for damage, that's going to be 11. Ignore sneak attack. I don't get sneak attack.
Okay. As you get flustered that you didn't hit anything, you reach out with your blade and it strikes true, drives itself directly through this guy's heart. And he looks at you and he just says, "All we wanted was your shit." And he croaks over, slides off your blade, and dies.
Yeah, we're not done yet. So I was going to hit him with the dagger, but then
Okay.
I chucked the dagger at this chick.
At A, okay. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm
As
like,
she's
chuck the
stumbling
dagger
around
at
the
her.
horse, not paying attention to what anyone else is doing, just trying to.
Unfortunately, you only get sneak attack on the first attack.
Yes.
So, boo. I mean, if that was the case,
What's
it'd be
your-
OP.
2 hit
Hang on,
with
one
the
second.
dagger. Okay.
I haven't rolled it yet.
Roll it.
So, that's going to be a 22.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And she's going to take
All the damage.
5.
So you reach out with this rapier and you stab B through the heart. They slide off your blade, and as soon as they break the crest of the tip of your blade, your other hand comes across and your eyes just meet the eyes of A. You give a little smirk and you shoot this dagger, throw this dagger over at A, and she watches it the whole time. And as soon as it is about to hit her, she closes her eyes and the dagger impacts her directly in the throat and knocks her onto the ground, instantly dead. Oh, shoot. That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, you killed the
Oh,
horse.
The cart. The
Oh,
horses,
come on,
no.
the horses, not the horses.
I guess you guys are walking now. All right. So they are dead. C is the only one left standing, looking very rough. Ripple, anything else you would like to do?
I'm going to shout at C. I'm going to be like, "You want to make it a hat trick?"
No. He yells back.
All right, and then I'm done my turn.
C is looking scared. Aster, you are up.
Oh, I'm gonna use my full movement and dash action
Okay.
to come near C.
Okay.
I should have enough. Yeah. And I just want to shout to him, better drop your weapons now.
Okay. Roll me an intimidation check. The DC is pretty low because he is scared.
Intimidation.
Also, I just one-two'd his comrades, so
This is true. That's why he's scared.
Yeah.
13. Okay. Easy enough. Thank you for that. Anything else you would like to do?
And I'm just gonna I use all my moves. That's it. I'm still like 40 feet in the air. That's it.
Okay. Moving on to C. They are going to, their hands are going to shake. And they are going to yell out, "You guys, are you okay, guys?" And he just kind of like begins to sprint toward the bridge. As he does, Viha and Aster, you have the ability to take attack of opportunities if you wish.
No, I want to keep him alive.
Nope, I'm gonna pass.
Okay. He is going to run the full length.
The scarier he's gonna be,
To right
the
here.
more info is gonna spill out.
Okay, let me see here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he is going to run to where he is, and seeing that A and B are now dead, he kind of drops to his knees, drops his blade, and begins to sob. And you all now, we will say, are out of combat.
I'm going to go to him as he's sobbing. Yeah, he's not gonna make any moves. And I'm gonna like get his scruff of his neck and go, "Okay, all right, let's get this over with. Who do you work for?"
Oh, my friends. They're dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also fucking sad. Who do you work for?
So roll me either persuasion or intimidation. I would kind of lean towards intimidation, but you can make the choice.
Doesn't matter. I have +1 in both.
Hey,
So-
let's go. It's nice not to have to make choices.
God damn it!
Uh,
Eight.
okay. He says, why would I tell you anything? You killed my friends. We just wanted to take some of your stuff. We weren't gonna kill ya. Murderers.
All right. You know what? Aster,
I'm gonna go ahead
you
and roll
got
a
this.
persuasion check.
Aster, what were you saying?
I'm gonna
Well,
go fetch my dagger. There, I got my dagger.
Okay.
I want to pick up the guy from behind and fly a bit in the air with him.
Okay.
And just politely ask, like, in 40 feet in the air, so, do you think you can make the jump? Or you can fill some information for us?
Roll me an intimidation with advantage.
Okay. Oh.
Big up for the advantage.
Aw.
A 10.
Aw.
With what you were doing, a 10 is enough to succeed.
Oh.
Now,
Oh, nice.
yes. He's kind of dangling, and he kind of reaches towards you to grab onto you to like hang on. But he can't quite grab. Okay. Oh, this is high. Oh, I'll tell you what you want. Oh, you just put me down safely. I don't want to die.
I got you. And I return him
You drop
to
him.
the
No.
ground. I return him back to the ground.
Okay. And he like lays down on the ground flat and starts to like kiss the ground. And then he sees his friend still dead and he starts to sob again. What do you want to know?
Everything. Why do you rob us?
Okay.
Who do you work for?
I was born in a small town. My mother's name is Bill.
no.
My father's
Fast
name
forward,
is
fast
Joanna.
Fast forward.
What do you want to know?
He's lost it at this point. He just, what do you want to know?
Why are you robbing people?
It's how we get by. This is our livelihood. We couldn't make it in the big cities. They didn't take kindly to the way we looked, or, I mean, stealing is frowned upon some places, but that's the only way we know how to get by. So oh man, the Shadow Blades took us in, and now we steal from those on the road. We don't kill, not when we don't have to.
Vito, because I'm a rogue, can I make a history check to see if I know anything about Shadow Blades?
Sure.
V, as a mercenary, would you?
No. I know jack shit.
Viha, because you're
Yeah,
a mercenary, would
I'll-
you like to roll as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll a history check on that as well.
Okay. 12. Not bad.
He said,
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, so the Shadow Blades, you somewhat recognize the name. It doesn't seem, from what you heard, it doesn't seem like a very old group they're not quite mercenaries, they're kind of like a gang. But I guess they are kind of mercenaries. I don't know. You're kind of unsure what their motives are, if they are guns for hire or they just do their own stuff. But they are a relatively new gang of bandits and whatnot.
so it seems like they're just like you said, a new small group of cutthroats who are just
Yeah, with
robbing
that
to make
roll,
a living.
that's probably that's what you can kind of remember from the name.
Okay. So
Hey,
I tell
Firestorm, thank you so
everyone
much for joining us. We're
that,
playing some
what
Secret
I
of the
know
Phandelver's
about
pack.
the Shadow
Enjoy.
Blades, and how they're just a small group, but from what I remember, just a small group, very insignificant, just kind of band together to steal. And
Should be an interesting detour, but not now. Tell me, do you want to live?
Oh, Jesus. Yes, I
Okay.
want to live. Oh, I want to live.
Then, oh yeah, oh I want to try to do this. I'm gonna hire you if you want. The payment is your life and a bit of a coin, and you are gonna be my bodyguard of sort.
I have a family.
Time's up.
I have
Your
a
answer?
family.
Yeah, this ensures your life and some stable and honest way of work. I'm not gonna push you into danger so you can die. But
how long do I have to do this for? You kill my friends.
I think that your dead friends are not your worry now. You have your family to think about. Nothing too long, don't worry. But you will be proprietarily compensated and alive.
Well, where are you headed?
Phandalin?
Oh, and he kind of perks up slightly, a very little perk up. And he says, I can help escort you there. I know exactly where it is. And anything on the road, I can help protect you. And if I get you there, can you release me to go be with my family? I can get you to Phandalin.
If you arrive there safe, I will decide there and then.
So you release me? And he takes his hand up and he holds a hand out to shake.
And there. And I put my arms behind my back and just spread my wings a bit more to have more intimidating presence.
Roll another intimidation check.
Oh, I will. Come on. Oh.
That's nice. That's really good.
Oh.
Better than my fucking intimidation.
Oh, as long as I don't die and I get back to my family, I'll take you to Phandalin. And we can talk about it when we get there.
I set my terms. You're gonna live. Try to double cross me. I spread
no.
You already murdered my friends.
Us.
I'm sorry. Us.
I don't even know who you are. Who are you all? Why are you doing this?
You don't need to know.
Okay.
It's for your own safety. And I put up like a wide smile, so my teeth are my pointed teeth are visible.
Okay. Easy enough.
I just get a Vizog. Hey, look, free labor.
I go ahead and the body of who I'm standing next to. I go ahead and loop the pockets, take the equipment. Say this is consider this an inconvenience fee.
Okay, Viha,
Yes,
roll me investigation.
Yeah.
Oh. Fuck, I'm not proficient.
On
you
B,
seen
you
another-
find a scimitar, and that's all you find. A
Scimitar?
scimitar. A scimitar. Yes. Jumping over to Galen, you all look over as Galen begins shoving good berries down this chick's throat, and she begins to awaken a little bit. Galen, you ask her where the stolen supplies are. She groggily just like reaches a hand out across the bridge.
Is she pointing at the barricade?
Yes.
She expects me to believe that that's the stolen goods and that's all they have is right there, and they're using the stolen goods as barricade.
We don't have anything else on us. That was all we had. That's not even someone's stolen wagon. That's our stuff. We just put it there.
Can I roll
We could-
insight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, roll insight.
Like, this all happened while you guys were doing your thing, so we weren't supposed to know about it. 21.
Looking, it seems like she's being truthful. From where you are looking over toward the cart, you can kind of see that it was dismantled and kind of smashed a little bit, but it could be put back together.
Okay.
So it kind of it goes in line with what she's saying.
This was just to block those on the bridge. We haven't seen anyone in days.
Okay. Well, then I go ahead and follow through with the rest of my
Okay.
what I said.
Right.
She
So you guys see me point off towards Neverwinter.
and she gets up and she begins to horse out of my way. Let me take that off of her. And she begins to hobble back this direction.
I go ahead and give her the other two good berries now that I've talked to her at low health.
Okay. Easy enough.
Topped off.
All right, so is there anything else you guys would like to do? You've investigated B, you've got information out of C. A was set off toward Neverwinter.
No, don't bite me.
Should we load their supplies on our cart? The stuff they had?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, let's look through it and see what's
And
worth
Uh,
taking.
I'm gonna give one good berry because I believe that C is like really blooded still.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he takes it and shoves it in his mouth. Still like crying. He's got like boogers and tears just streaming. He looks like a big dude, but he is a bull baby.
I mean, no wonder what we have done to him.
Okay, he tried.
All right, so looking at everything in the cart, who's looking?
I'll look if somebody wants to help me who's proficient in investigation.
I've got a 20.
No, never mind.
You should roll too.
Yeah, go crit fishing.
Yep,
19.
close enough.
Yeah, there we go.
So looking through the supplies, you see, so looking at the boxes, most of the boxes have like the same kind of symbol that your guys' boxes have. It's the crest of like a lion head on a shield. However, the ones you're looking at here look super rough and like they were hastily scratched on, that they might have been made there to make it look like they belong to wherever your supplies may be going. Opening the boxes, you find pieces of wood, you find like dirt and like sand in the boxes, just to give it a little bit of weight. But just underneath, as you start to tear the cart apart, you find a little satchel underneath the corner of the boxes that seems to was hidden. And inside there is 31 gold,
Ooh.
14 silver,
Four.
and 7 copper, as
So-
well as 2 malachite gems, and it looks to be some small little orange gem. Kind of looks like a sunburst. Can't remember the name of it now.
Citrine? No, that's yellow.
It's just a gem. It's just a little handful of gems. All the gems are worth the same amount.
Okay. Gold wise, how much does that split?
I know the gold is 7 gold and 75 silver. I
A
don't know
piece.
the rest though. Yeah, a piece. So it's 7 gold and 75 silver a piece.
Okay.
That's just for the gold. I don't know about the silver.
It was 12 silver and 7 copper.
Okay, 12
So 3
silver,
silver?
that's 3 silver more each.
Yeah.
And how much copper?
7.
7. Who wants the extra copper?
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I don't give two shits about copper. Sorry, Vito.
No, you're fine. Find it anyway.
This is, yeah.
I'll take my 2 copper.
Okay,
I'll
you can take
my
the 2 copper. Yeah.
I'll take my 2 copper and throw it off the bridge into the water.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No one's going to put it on B's eyes. All right. So, what are y'all doing? What do y'all want to do?
Maybe just one person ready to just take back off.
Okay. Y'all jump back in the wagon?
I
Okay.
believe that our new guide should sit in the front and guide the way.
Yeah, he kind of crawls over to the cart and just like works his way up front, and he's still sniffling. As you
Can
all
we put
go ahead.
I'm gonna be right behind him.
Okay.
Be like, what's up? Just right behind him.
Okay. Easy enough.
Can we put B on top of the? Can we move the debris to where B is and put B on top?
Put B on top of the debris.
Yeah.
Okay. The debris is part of the map, so we'll just say yes.
Yeah. Okay. Once we're past it, I'm gonna try to hit it with the sacred flame.
Okay.
I don't want anybody else falling through it.
Yeah, we'll say you're able to do it as you all ride off further down the road on your way to Phandalin, having encountered a few Shadowblade gang members, whatever that is, in hopes to finding something about Oburian and the Phandelver's Pact. And I think that is where we're going to end it for tonight.